Speak high ho.
Hello, good evening. It's with, well, first of all, on very, very, very somber news that we begin talking tonight. We've obviously lost one of our own, an FRL member. If Chris Jones, as you may have seen from the announcement earlier on today. I also can't put sound on my screen. So, yes, you might have saw in the announcement that Chris Jones, aka FRLACC, has sadly passed away overnight after a short illness. I won't say what illness it is because I think it's down to the family's privacy, first and foremost. We have got a GoFundMe, Lorraine, Chris's wife, has got a GoFundMe page set up, which is available in the announcements within the FRL Discord server. I've also placed a link to the GoFundMe page in the chat, so please go and help the family at this very, very difficult time. I think this goes to show how short life really is, and how precious it is as well. So although we get together and we enjoy sim racing together, it also shows family is what matters as well, which is probably the main thing. So obviously starting on that very somber note, as a tribute to Chris, in all events which we'll be doing this evening, we will be having a parade lap at the beginning of qualifying. So for the super sprints this evening, and for the Taco Tuesday races on PlayStation 4 and 5, we'll be doing a parade lap, so an extra 4 or 5 minutes will be added to qualifying to be able to support that. In the super sprint races, the parade lap will be led by Michael Firth and One Lost Socks, which is Barry Gibbons, in tribute livery cars. So yeah. So like I said, please have a look at the link in the chat which I've posted. Help out Chris's family in this awful time.
There's actually one of the cars going out just now, car 33.
Yeah. And so, okay, let's. Yeah. So tonight we have. I'm going to sort my sound out for the game first and foremost, because I think I know what I've done wrong. Audio. There we go. There you go. You should be able to hear sound of the cars going around the track now. I'm once again joined by my able assistants. My able assistant, Derek. I've had my usual Tuesday rush. I managed to get in 10 minutes before this was about to start, so that's quite good for me. Derek was here helping with technical difficulties of drivers. And in the background you can see the wonderful Oulton Park circuit.
Yes.
Have I ever tried to?
One of my favourite tracks. I think it's one of your favourite tracks too.
Recently, is in the last week, it's become one of my favourite tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I realised I was quite quick at it in a Toyota GR car. In a Formula D car, not so quick.
I raced this a few times in the GT4, and I got my first podium in the GT4 on PlayStation. It wasn't until we came onto PC that I raced it on GT3. I done okay. I wasn't as quick as I had been in the. I wasn't as far up the grid as I would have been in the GT4. And then some plonker behind me just went through me in half the pack, We had to do two restarts.
Was that me? Yeah, it was me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully you are nowhere near me on the rookies or the Friday race.
Yes, well, Thursday. Well, I can't drive the Audi, so I definitely won't be anywhere near you. Right. So this is the final round of the championship. So we've had 7 long rounds of. Sorry, my head's thrown from the earlier bit. We've had 7 rounds leading up to this point, so that's been 12 races in total for the Super Sprints. We have the final round of the Rookie Series, and we also have the final round of the Pure Sim Gear season. We have 6 hours of Monza on Saturday, and we also have the patron draw.
And this is also the last Super Sprint for the foreseeable future.
It is, because next season we go to the British GT.
Yes, season 2 of that one. Although season 1 was quite a long drawn out process, it was once a month.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even. It wasn't even once a month. It was whenever Keddy was free.
Yeah, pretty much. It wasn't the same part of the month. It could have been a month and a half before we got to the next one. But it was at least 1 January, 1 in February, 1 in March, 1 in so on. There's a Honda in the green.
There is.
So what is the first port of call?
Let's have a look at the super. Well, no, we generally make it as we go along, unfortunately. So let's have a look at the Super Sprint standards. Like I said, I think that news has kind of shocked us all. So, like I said, apologies if I'm a little bit less weird today.
More weird, maybe.
Yeah.
Less weird.
So let's have a look at the. So I prematurely declared Thomas Nopek the winner last week.
Yeah, we discussed that, and then afterwards we discussed that again, didn't we?
Yeah. So there's 51 points that currently separate himself and Skylar Lovering, with 2 races left, where there will be 80 points available to be able to be won. So.
I think he only needs to win 1 race, doesn't he? And he's pretty much got it now.
Yeah.
One of the 2 races, as long as he doesn't finish too far down in second.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's got it.
Basically, Keddy's noticed the number of sheet tabs I have open on my thing. So what was that? FRL main, ACC scoring document, new race document, PC AC scoring document, Discord racing team. We don't talk about them. Wessex garages, used Kia Sportage, series information, Timpsons Super Sprint, and 6 hours of Monza. No, I don't use those websites.
No, the XNXX is on a different window on a different tab that says incognito.
Yeah, it says private browsing. So before
invisible to stream.
Yes. So we've got Bjorn Dale currently in 5th place on 372 points. He has a very outside chance of getting onto the podium. Vincenzo Senadore, that DNF or disconnect in round 5 of race 1 has really cost him. So he's on.
And then the missing race 5 as well.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Says. I meant race 1, the DNF in race 1.
Yeah. So we got Senadore in P4 on 402 points. Then we got Dean Power, currently occupies 3rd place in the championship on 415 points. So he's going to be looking to defend P3 in the championship, with an outside chance of looking at Skylar Lovering just ahead of him. He's on 436 points, but I think probably odds-on favourite to remain odds-on favourite to win the championship is Thomas Nopek, and you can look at the top row of all the ones that are in there.
Dean Power's done quite well. He's not had very many podiums per race, but he's in 3rd place because of a consistent finishing position.
Well, look at P8.
I'll get that out eventually.
P8, P8, P7, P10, P7, P3, P8, P8, P5, 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 P3. I think that's
Yeah, that's pretty.
yeah.
That's
We,
pro material.
well, given it's the
Sure.
pros, you would hope so.
Yeah.
In terms of the AM fight that's going on, we've got Ryan Blanchett, who dropped down the standings with a DNF in the last race at Watkins Glen. He's on 335 points. Alan Brown in his Aston Martin is on 368 points in P4. Gavin Taylor in P3 on 421 points. However, the title fight between Gunter and Chris Fielder is currently separated by 3 points. Chris Fielder has had wins. Gunter hasn't had a single win all season, but currently occupies that top spot in the championship based on consistency again. And
Yes.
it just shows that race 2 for Chris Fielder has cost him that P20 and P18.
Definitely. I mean that's probably destroyed his whole season. Just that one race. It's one to look back on and say what could have been.
What was that track? Round 2.
Race 2 would have been.
Let's have a look.
Oh, what was race 2? It wasn't.
Nürburgring.
Was it Indianapolis?
Nürburgring.
Oh, Nürburgring. Oh, dear me.
So, Chris Fielder qualified P4, and then, like I said, finished.
And then finished 20th and 18th.
Yeah, 20th and 18th. So that's what's cost him this season in terms of the championship. So we're going to try and keep an eye and up to date. He hit an out of control pink Honda apparently, according to Chris. We're going to try and...
Out of control pink Honda.
Evening, Mr. Floppy Fox. How's the cat? We're going to try and keep an eye on the championship. So after the podcast and before the race, I'm going to build a little spreadsheet, which is going to allow me to keep everything up to date and have it shown on screen as well in terms of the championships and people's finishing positions. I did have a sheet built, but I deleted the tab. So our rookies go into the final race of the season. So we got the Tier 1 and Tier 2 in rookies. Our rookies go into the final race of the season at Oulton Park with our Tier 1 and Tier 2. Well, Tier 1 looks kind of sewn up. Unfortunately, we lost a driver due to retaliation, shall we say, at Watkins Glen.
Dear me.
Yeah, well, basically, the Javier Gonzalez had finished the race, was parked off in the distance in turn 1, and the driver in question went full throttle straight into the car.
Not nice conduct.
No, so we took the... And then, unfortunately, didn't respond to any of our messages, so we had to remove them. So in P5, we got Nicholas Longdon on 356 points. P4...
Nigel.
Nicholas Longdon.
It says Nigel on that.
Oh, shut up. How's your best mate Clive? Alex Zillo in a P4 on 387 points. Lucas Mari in P3 on 403 points. Federico Ingrosso in P2 on 419 points, and top of the tree is Javier Gonzalez on 449 points. Looks pretty much odds-on favourite to win that, if I'm perfectly honest. But hey, and pretty much a very similar picture in Tier 2 as well. So Russ Blake, why the bloody hell is Chris Gedman in 6th?
He's been consistently doing okay, and one race at least.
Wow.
Below 10. And then maybe the other race has been above 10, but I mean, it's been fairly consistent.
Well, Woody missed a DNF himself there. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So we got Russ Blake in P5 on 384 points. Bob Broughton, or Broughton, as he clarified to us, in P4 on 395 points. Then you got Dan Sixups in P3 on 411 points. Rick Kane in P2 on 416 points. So he's going to be looking to hold on to P2. And then Bjorn Klassens is currently top of the tree on 449 points. There's not too much of a difference between the points for each round. So round 7, it's 80-78, so it's 2-point difference between them. Whereas the normal championship, there's only a point difference between them. But when there's a 60-minute race, essentially there's double points. When there's 2 30-minute races, then the points go 49, 39, 38, 37, etc.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, last but by no means least, I'm going to scroll right the way. Late Night Cup. Let's have a look at that. We never look at Late Night Cup.
No, it finishes this week as well, doesn't it?
It does indeed. So
and then goes to the Lambo.
It goes to Super Trofeo.
Trofeo.
You've got Giovanni Pipo, who's been fantastic in P1 on 176. Donales in P2 on 174 points. And Marco Meletti on 165 points in P3. But once again, you look at the points, someone has to have a very bad race not to win the championship, essentially. Right. Let's go to Pure Sim Gear GT3 Friday and the standings. We'll start off in Tier 1 as always. So Matija Milandanovic, that DNF has cost him in round 5, is currently on 177 points. Melka Garby in P4 on 183 points, 10 points behind James Perry, who missed round 4. Otherwise I think he might be closer to Mattia Nichira than he is. Rock Cop's winner last time out is in 2nd, and he is 26 points behind Mattia Nichira, who currently leads the way. Mattia Nichira got involved in a bit of an accident, shall we say, in Pure Sim Gear on last Friday.
He actually had a couple.
Yeah.
He had the big one that brought him back to near the back of the track, and then he passed me. And it must have been about 2 laps later, I passed him in the wall.
Yeah.
And I dropped him all the way back again and still made it back to 7th, so...
Well,
he's no slouch.
Absolutely not. So that's got 26 points between them, but once again, the points it's going to be difficult for anyone to claim that position back. In the AMS, we've got Barry Gibbons in P5 on 169 points. I think there's been an issue. More tabs than a chain smoker. Thank you, JR. The car I was looking to go see, by the way, is... where is it? Sorry. I'm just vastly incompetent at life.
So what we're doing here?
Look, this is the car I'm going to buy, by the way. It's one of the tabs that was open, so I'm going to go...
I thought you'd already got, or is this for you?
This is for me.
Right.
My wife's car is now outside the house.
Just very randomly moved on to that.
No, it's because it's one of the tabs that's open.
Yeah.
So we got Tudor in P4, but I think there needs to be a correction in terms of his results because... Or maybe not, actually. I think that's actually right. Christian Bertoncello didn't make last race. He's in P.
You know there's 3 drivers in joint 4th, right?
No.
Yeah.
Well, right, okay. So Derek is in P4 on 169 points. Then he got Barry Gibbons in P4 on 169 points, and then Tudor also in P4 on 169 points. Bertoncello in P3 missed the last race, unfortunately. Ryan Blanchett currently in P2 on 210 points, with Nick the Stick currently leading the way on 217 points. So all over apart from the shouting in terms of that. I think the
I'm hoping I can claim 4th place overall on that. It's going to be difficult. But we'll see.
Well, let's have a look. So this is what I'm trying to figure out what your highest standings are.
My highest finish.
Yeah.
I think the highest in rookies was 8th or something. I think I finished 7th on Pure Sim Gear. I've only done 2 seasons of Pure Sim.
Apparently,
this one and the one before.
apparently in season 3 of the... Oh no, that's just changed now. So Pure Sim Gear GT3 Friday on season 2, you finished 6th.
Was it 6th?
Hmm.
I'm sitting 7th just now.
Yeah.
So, got to beat Chris tomorrow to get my level best.
Yes, well, make sure you do. Right, let's have a look at... I'm not sponsored by Wessex Garages, by the way. There was something I wanted in here, and now I can't find it. Number picker wheel. There we go. So, as always, we're nice and organised. Dell should get P4 for his charm and spin up Watkins pit lane. Other garages are available. Alan 7th, despite having a points reset to 0 to change car. He probably had won it, being in the Aston from the beginning. Other garages are available. Briz would have won if he did not have sandbag attached to his car. Yes, he's desperate to... I'm trying to figure out if he's desperate to get out of the AMS or desperate to stay in the AMS. I'm not 100% sure. Right, so it is the lucky patron draw. So I have a tab open with the patrons on there as one of my many tabs, which is not currently loading, which is helpful. Patrons, there we go. So I've got that open and ready. I'm going to press the button, and where will it stop? Nobody knows. One lucky patron winner. That's where £15 goes to number 80. So number 80 is not in use.
Not in use.
So we have a...
I've been made number 80 a couple of times because someone's taken my number. Can I climb it?
No. So we have a 78, a 79, and an 81.
Oh, it's cool. So well, there you go. It's up to £20 for next week then.
It is only £20, and is Chris Smiley on there this week? 792. There you are. So I'm not sure what happened, but you are on the list.
Right, his direct debit lapsed, didn't he?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm just saying, just making it up as I go along.
Why is the... There we go. Right, okay, so that's that part of it done. We're going to see our faces again now, unfortunately for you lot.
No! My camera will break.
Yes, we're...
Currently 19 people in server.
Nice. So one of the things that we have spoken about briefly today, based on the sad news that we've received, and it was one of the things that was in my script, which I was going to say at the start of the race, is we're looking into two things at the moment. Chris won Taco Tuesday twice on the PlayStation 4, so we're thinking about giving the Fresh Isa Taco Tuesday trophy at the end of each season, given to the winning driver, as one of the things which we're in talking about doing. I think all the admins acknowledge that's a great idea, and also as Chris was a patron, we're talking about retiring the number 28, and I don't think anyone would dispute that. So I just need to... today we're just kind of processing the news, but just trying to make sure that we try and do things right. But as mentioned, there's the GoFundMe page that's in the channel right at the top, and in the Discord there's also that GoFundMe page. Right, next item on my list. We have
a list. We know this already.
It's in here.
It may be a mental list.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. I completely agree, Ben. It has been a hard day. I know you live very, very close to him, so I can only imagine how hard it's been for you, and also for his family and friends as well. So our thoughts go out to them. Yes, next on my list is we have a certain 6-hour race on Saturday.
Do we?
We do. And 6 hours, ironically, is how far Keddy and I made it into the 12 hours of Monza race.
And if you do that this weekend, you'll be in so much trouble.
Well, I'm only allowed to drive for 2 hours of it, so
Yeah.
um,
And you
so
don't even know which 2 hours that's going to be yet, do you?
I think it's the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
So,
I'm gonna do qualifying and the first 2 hours potentially, or someone else wants to do qualifying. I don't mind.
um, it wouldn't be me doing qualifying because I'm not that fast runner. I reckon I'm quite happy to do a second and third stint.
Well,
I'd like to do back-to-back stints. I'd
I think
rather do that.
so. I'll be unfortunately for the viewers, I'll be commentating for the last 2 hours.
Okay.
Chromedix will be commentating for qualifying and the first 2 hours. So I
Okay, so
think,
if you're doing the last 3 hours, then we'll work it out because I can always do the last 2 hours
yeah.
while
Well,
you're running.
anyway, 6 hours.
And
6 hours.
we'll put our new member, Chris, Craig,
Clive.
Clive, Christopher, Colin. We'll put him in for qualifying and the main start.
Yes. So no, I'm going to do qualifying, I think. Well, anyway, we can talk about that. But most importantly, 6 hours of Monza. This is round 2 of the Endurance 2023 season. We don't have a table on the sim grid for it because we run them as one-off events. We have Brands Hatch next, so let's have a little bit. I'm waiting for. There we go. It's loading slowly. Ah, there we go. So,
It's not
unfortunately,
loaded for us.
no. I know that. Now it has. So this is the current standings after round 1. So Mission Spinow Racing Esports won the first race. Flat Out SR with Matti and Nishira and Machi were racing in currently in P2. Project Reborn 1 are currently in P4. P3, then we got Crazy File Racing Team, Team Bolt, and Mission Spinow Racing Esports 2 in P5. So that's after round 1. We got Monza, as we mentioned, on Saturday. Then we got 4 hours of Brands Hatch, and then we have 24 hours of Watkins Glen. So
It's going to be fun.
I'm looking looking forward to not racing in the Audi for 24 hours of Watkins Glen.
Oh yeah, we'll be in the Mercedes. I believe we're in the Mercedes. They've not mentioned whether we're changing or not. We do have 5 people. It'll be you, Chris Sauter, Robbie Robstra, Clive. Anybody that doesn't know, Clive is Craig. I was calling him all sorts of names. Yeah, Craig Hill, and then myself.
Have you noticed that? So there's our team, which is me, you, and Craig, or Clive.
Yes.
I think the other team have changed their car, haven't they?
Yeah, they asked me to get it changed for them, Lexus.
Where are they? There we go. Yeah, Lexus.
Yeah, they were the first team in because that was originally the 4 of us, and we said, well, it's a bit awkward to do a Monza race, so we made a different team for us, and they kept the original team. But yeah, they're doing it in the Lexus because one of them decided it was a quicker car for them.
Yes.
Or both of them decided. I don't know exactly.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm quite happy to carry on in a Mercedes simply because I need to get used to it for when we get to Watkins Glen and every other track.
So I was just having a look. So this is my wonderful world of spreadsheets, which I introduced you guys to a couple of weeks ago. So this is how we manage the entry list essentially, or how we check if people have done their licenses. So we paste a CSV file into here. It pops it if they're a pro or an AM, gives me their driver rating, and then splits everything down into the team name and the team manager, and then these are all the people without all the teams without a full complement of drivers with their FRL licenses. And then here's a little bit of a summary in terms of we got 46 GT3 cars currently registered and 13 GT4 cars registered.
This is for Monza.
Yes.
How many cars are running? 60?
59 at the moment.
Right. Talking of drivers while we're at that precise moment in time, do you want to let the the guys know about the slight change in the driver's rating?
Not particularly.
Okay. So
Um,
when they come complaining to the chat and go, what happened to my rating? My row and things is all messed up.
so we had so I did do a spreadsheet. Funny enough, summary sheet. There we go. So this is all the people that have signed up to the event. So you've got rookies, British GT, PSG, late night, team one off, solo one off. So this is 264 registrations, and this is a split of the drivers by license. So you can see 59 have signed up who are pro, 54 silver, 76 pro am, 54 am, and 21 drivers have no rating. Before that was very disproportionately in the pro-am area, so there was about almost 90 drivers were pro-am. So we had a little bit of a chat in the admin area, and decided to update the ratings or the parameters for people who could sign up for different races. So that was 30 for pro-ams. That's now become 35. So anyone that's 35 below 35 will fall into the AM category. If you're above 35 but less than 45, you go into the silver, and if you're above 60, then you go into the pro section. The other update which we made was that pro-am area went from 47 to 46.5 in terms of the hot stint times, and that made we had to do about 100 role updates to put people into the correct roles, and Derek was one of the people affected, and he's very, very sad.
I'm very, very angry about it.
So what do you have to do to get into...
I'm going to be doing a wee hot stint on that.
Yes, so if you don't like me, and you don't agree with the decisions, you have to...
See, in fairness, I did say to you, I understand because my driver's rating is over a long course period of time.
Yep.
And although I've been doing better recently, it doesn't matter to the driver's rating. My driver's rating is more or less kind of locked at that point for the time being until I kind of put in a lot higher areas, higher finishes.
So you have two options. You can try and get an extra 3.3 in your driver rating. So I think you'd probably have to win every single race you partake in, including
for the next 5 seasons.
To get into that. So your last 10 races, your average is 34.6. So you're on the right track, Derek.
Yeah, I had a couple of really bad races, but some of them started with the Jaguar.
The other thing to do, if you don't like me, is do a hot stint at as per step 4 in the Discord server, and have a time faster than average time faster than a 46.5 at Barcelona. If you do that, you have to tell me you've done it, because my formulas don't pick up if someone's done an extra hot stint. So what was I looking at? What's filtered on this? So it's filtered by the override. So you have to tell me. So drop me a DM, tag me in the server. I'll look at it when I look at it. But basically, the time you do automatically pulls through into my spreadsheet. I then have to add a manual override in here, and that's valid for, I think I've made that so it's valid for 18 races. So after 18 races, that manual override will disappear, and you'll be placed back into the category where your driver rating says you are. Does that make sense?
So what is the cut-off point for pros again?
For which one?
For the hot stint.
Sub 44.
Okay, so I'll be going into pros now.
Average. Over 7 laps.
Yeah. We'll see. See what happens.
Or have a driver rating above 60.
Basically, what I'm aiming for is 146.5 average, and that'll get me into the pro-ams, which is where I probably would be if it wasn't for having been with FRL so long and having the races under my belt. That were absolute mints.
78 races so far.
Yeah.
So Mr. Gedman is also one of my victims. His
So
drive.
it's Chica Thompson.
He is. So Christopher Gedman's been dropped into the AMS with a rating of 31.3. So again, the hot stint is open to him. And Ian Thompson. I spelled his name wrong. There you go.
I-A-I-N.
Yeah, I know. So his rating is a 34.2. What's cost him is those 60 NFs. However, surprisingly, Mr. Woodward,
Mr. Woodward.
with his
How shockingly disgusting is this?
with 14 DNFs, his current driver rating is 37.7, and that's probably down to those podiums that he owns.
Yeah, it would be one.
So over the last 10 races, though, his DR is 31.1. So he's on a downward spiral. And he's currently 9th and 8th in the rookies and the sprint series. So yes, if you don't like me and you don't agree with me, then by all means the hot stint is open for you, isn't it, Christopher? Isn't it, Smiley? So you can go ahead and do it. We have 8 minutes left until we're going to take a short break. So let's go back into here. So
I think the as we discussed today, you're looking at possibility to make the drivers rating a bit more accurate, are you not?
it is accurate.
Well, I know it's accurate, but it's so many races that it's more difficult to move sometimes. If that makes sense.
So if I have the time on my hands, I showed you this the other week, and the reason why it upsets me, right? So I'll go back to this spreadsheet. So this is the sheet that has to be done to figure out your race by race driver rating. Okay, so it's an entire sheet to work out what your driver rating is over the last 10 races. And that is, so this is all the races that FRL have done, your quali, your race 1, your race 2, number of races if it's you do 2 races in one day, the driver rating if you've actually raced or not, and then an extra formula in there. Then this is, I don't know what I've done, why I've had this, but it's an extra bit of information, then another bit of information, and then sorted into the top. Oh, this is where I'm sorting it into the most recent date to the oldest date, and then the top 10 races go in to calculate your total driver rating, and then your average. So 310.7 divided by 10 is 31.1 with rounding. So that's how I have to calculate an individual's last 10 driver rating. I haven't figured out, I haven't invested the time to try and figure out how to do that en masse, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because it's rather complex. I know there's a way to do it, I just haven't had time to be able to do it. And yes, Floppy Fox, your driver rating is a bit of a mess. 39.5, so next season you'll be racing me.
He's just back, well, he's just started, hasn't he?
He's done 11 races already.
Yeah, but been a couple of bad finish.
Yeah, been involved in receiving of some incidents. So yeah, that's obviously affected. Yes, you need to stop getting killed.
Stop blaming the cat as well.
Yeah, and put the cat outside. So we've got 23
That's
drivers.
not true, JR. I am not an alien.
He's just a bit weird looking.
Yes. I've got big black eyes and a big round bald head. Although that could be said the same for you, James.
I was on a phone call earlier with a company, And the guy introduced himself as, "Sorry, I look a bit different to the last time you saw me. I am now bald and grey." And I went, "Mate, I'm probably about 30 years younger than you, and look at the state of me."
How does he know he's grey if he's bald?
Well, he had a grey beard. So that's how. But he was introduced. He was talking to one of my directors who knew him from 20 years ago or something. So, oh, right. So we have 4 minutes left. We have 24 drivers in. 24 drivers in the
Yeah, there's
server.
going to have to be a server reset because the times are all messed up.
No.
5 minutes out.
So what you're going to do is you're going to reset the practice. So it starts again with about.
Who, me?
Yeah.
When?
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, I can do it now.
Yeah. So why not? Let's reset the practice now. Let's really upset people, and then we can at 8 o'clock we can move it on to next. I can't see if qualifying is the right amount of time. So just a reminder, there'll be
Broken rusts.
Green light. Okay.
There'll be no. Sergio says no.
Sergio says no what?
Don't do it.
It's already done.
Yeah, I know. Sergio, I can't see how long how long qualifying one is. Actually, I'm
Qualifying one is
21
minutes.
Cool, that's fine. So I was making sure that it was the right length of time. Yeah. So there we go. We've got 18 minutes left before qualifying starts. We're going to take a short break. Well, I'm going to set up a spreadsheet. Funny that, to help record the results as we're going through.
Will that end up on the driver's rating page, the dashboard?
It's not going to end up on the driver rating dashboard. No, it's going to be. Basically what it's going to do is it's just going to show the live points tally. So if Nopec finishes first, then it'll add an extra 40 points to his total. If Skylar finishes second, then it'll add 39 points to his total. James doesn't secretly like spreadsheets. James openly loves his spreadsheets.
Yes, James has. Have you ever seen those people that get overly ambitious and aroused by
Feet.
objects? James has got that with spreadsheets.
It's my happy place. You can tell, right? So when I was first started working about 15 years ago, my family always used to take the piss out of me because I would say, "Oh, I built a spreadsheet for this." I've now developed a career out of building spreadsheets. So there we go. So they were, and JR, just to go back on what you said, there was a comic who went, over the last 365 days, you have declined me sex on X number of dates, and for the following reasons. There were 4 times because it was too hot, 15 times because it was too cold, and he listed out all the reason why his wife wouldn't make sweet love to him. And I'm sure I've got a spreadsheet somewhere for those reasons as well. Right, okay. Before we delve too much into my personal life, and Derek kicks off again about why he's no longer using Twitter.
Twitter's fine.
Yeah, we're going to go now.
It's the rest of them, Tumblr and
Grindr and
Facebook.
yeah. We're going to go on mute. We're going to let the calendar play.
I mean, Grindr, hang on a minute now.
Nothing wrong with that, Derek.
Taking advantage of me not paying attention to what you were saying.
We're going to go on. We're going to go quiet for a little bit. I'm going to play with a spreadsheet. Wait, do you know what? We can let the race know because they can still hear you talk.
Yeah. Nobody wants to hear me talk.
No. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna, rather than you watching the calendars go round and round in circles, you're gonna be able to watch the racing action going on. And I'm gonna go play with a spreadsheet. I'm gonna turn off my camera, Derek's camera, and we'll be back shortly.
turn off the...
Hello, so we are back now. We are doing a formation lap in memory of Chris Jones, aka Fresh Issa, who sadly passed away overnight after a short illness. So we're going to extend qualifying by an extra 5 minutes. He leaves behind his wife Lorraine and children. Chris, who raced with us for in a number of seasons in FRL, has won 2 Taco Tuesday championships, and was much loved by all throughout this entire sim racing community. What I've been astounded by over the last day is how many people have outpoured in terms of how they knew Chris, how he was always very friendly off the track and on the track, to be honest, but how much of a fierce competitor he was on the track as well. There was, I think everyone saw, some people may have saw a screenshot that Will Friedman shared in the Discord today of them finishing a 90-minute Taco Tuesday race, literally a front bumper away from one another. That just shows what a competitor he was. But again, in the chat, how much of a nice guy he is, or he was. I have posted twice within the stream chat, also available in the Discord chat, a GoFundMe page to help support his wife and his family at this very, very, very sad time. I don't feel like I'm doing Chris justice in what I'm saying, but I just want to say how our thoughts, feelings, everything goes out to Chris and his family. I think he was 42 years old, so still really, really young, and just leaving his wife and his children behind is just really, really sad. You can see 2 of the SBR members of Floppy Fox, Michael aka Michael Firth, one Lost Sock, Barry Gibbons, leading the tribute of this formation lap around the grid at Oulton Park, and I'm just so pleased to say of how many drivers are out there doing this lap. I'm just gonna leave the pictures tell the story, but again, our thoughts go out to Lorraine and his children and all his friends and the rest of his family at this sad time. So the drivers will now pull into the pits. I just want to give every single one of those drivers a massive round of applause for showing the respect. And yeah, I have no words, but thank you everyone who tuned in. I'm sure at 8:30 on the Taco Tuesday race they'll be displaying exactly the same sort of respect for Chris and his family. Once again, please have a look at the GoFundMe page and help support his family in this sad time. Right, I'm a little bit choked up. Ryan, hello. Derek, hello. How are you?
Hello.
Not too bad.
It was nice to see it. Every single person went out there.
Yeah.
There was no one that sat in the pits. Every single person went out.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I know Chris was he was in the sorry, my brain's gone. He was in the Run DJC server as well, wasn't he? And I know he was very fondly thought of in there too.
Yeah, there was quite a few people that were in there. I mean, I did have the pleasure of racing with him, but I know that JR and Rompu and a few other guys that are in the team got to experience battling him on track, and what kind soul he was to a lot of people.
Absolutely. Right, it is final rounds of the season at Oulton Park. We have 2 races as normal. We have the next 8 minutes of qualifying will be for the AMs, and the final 8 minutes will be for the pros. I have got my spreadsheet set up, however, due to my massive incompetence, I can't actually share it on. Well, it doesn't look very nice if I share it on here. You can't really see it. So, and I don't have the highlights for Ryan, which I will try and do at some point. But yeah, I think let's get down to the action. So I will try and keep you guys abreast of the latest finishing positions and the current standings, just as a little reminder. Oh, nice. What happened there? My ears popped. We got.
You're asking us why your ears popped.
Well, no, it just sounded like someone dropped something. So Thomas Nopet currently leads the way in the pro server on 487 points. Then you got Skylar Lovering in second on 436 points. So that's all over bar the shouting. Dean Power in P3 on 415 points. Then you got Senadore in P4 on 402 points, and Bjorn Dale on 372 points. That's our top 5. In the AMs, it's a little bit more exciting. So we got Ryan Blanchett in 5th on 335 points. Alan Brown in 4th on 368 points. Gavin Taylor in 3rd place on 421 points. However, the top 2, Gunter and Chris, are separated by just 3 points. And with 80 points on offer, anything can happen over the next 2 races. So, yes, there we are. Oulton Park, favourite for you or not? And that's open to anyone.
You know it is for me. Discussed that earlier. I got my first podium. Yep.
Oh yes, I remember.
It will always be in my heart.
Yes, I remember. That was in the GT4 season, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they
my Chevy Camaro of all things.
Yeah, it was quite good on British tracks, but then terrible on the rest.
It was definitely good at Oulton Park, but I don't know about good on the rest. It's very, very bad on Silverstone, I believe. At least any time I've used it, I've found that.
Thoughts and feelings on Oulton Park then, Ryan?
I despise it.
Why?
I genuinely despise the track. It does not go well with me. I just genuinely struggle with driving around here. Yeah, just I never get into a flow with it. I mean, back in the day before I moved over to PC, I loved it in the GT4s and the Porsche Super Cup, but moving it over to PC and driving it in the GT3s, I just could not get a hang of it, and I don't know, it just felt weird for me to be in a faster car on the same track that I was so fast on in the GT4.
Well, it's a complicated track when it comes because of the undulations and the bumpy track itself.
So
yeah,
I've driven this track a lot recently, over the last week, on a different game, I will add. I've driven it without the chicanes, That was great fun. However, out of the hairpin, you gain an awful lot of speed down towards the right-hander, which is where the second chicane is. So you literally just go straight on and turn right at the end, rather than going through the bollard. That was fun. I've driven it in a Toyota GR with the chicanes, and I enjoyed it. In a GT3 car, I do not enjoy it.
It's a track that's built for slower cars.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I notice is when I watch the British GT from here, it just doesn't seem right for them to be at this kind of track. I mean, if you go compare the GT3s to say the Mini Cup is so much more competitive battle because everyone is nip and tuck because there's nowhere to really gain anything. Whereas in GT3s, one mistake and you're done.
Yeah. Well, we got some of the AMs have gone out onto the track already. So Chris Fielder has managed to pop in a 33.9. He's P2 in the championship. Bjorn Klassens has popped in a 34.7. Brizzle's popped in a 34.8. I'm trying to look for Gunter. Gunter's popped in a 35.5 at the moment. So he's going to want to try and be as high up on the grid as possible. Raki is popped in a 35.5 as well, so he's just half a tenth behind Nick the Stick in 6th place at the moment. So Lurchy says go on Craig, 888.
He is currently in 9th place.
So Mr. Hill is in 9th place, yes. I've experienced it this week. There can be some interesting accidents in turn 1. In sector 1. So you come in, turn 1 isn't a proper braking zone. You sweep to the right, then you start to, then you go down the hill and you go right again, and then you've got that horrible left-hander which you can take at some speed, where everyone kind of has different lines. Lap 1 with multiple different lines, with cars on your outside, on your inside, that can sometimes deliver not a great experience.
Great content.
Well, depends on your perspective. If you know you're going to be, if you know why Bjorn's Klassens is overtaking during qualifying, so I bet Woody is extremely happy about that. Yeah, it depends on your perspective. If you know you're going to be dealing with the tickets afterwards, it's not great content. If you're watching it and you are looking for some accidents, then it's fantastic content. The hairpin is another one as well.
I'm no longer a steward, so I enjoy it.
Well, we can always just add the roll back into you.
No.
No.
You tried that before. You made me an admin and I just deleted myself right away. It's brilliant. When you get the power, you just take it away.
I don't have the power anymore.
No.
Nope.
I think it was Katie that gave me it.
Yes, it was. I'm trying to figure out what I can charge my headset. So I'm back on. So I always do this thing where I forget. I race all week, which is great, or commentate all week, and then I forget to charge my headset. So by the time Tuesday comes, my headset has run out. So I'm back on my work headset again, because I'm again vastly incompetent. Right. So sorry everyone, I've missed the end of the AM qualifying. So let's have a quick recap on that. So we've got Chris Fielder, who claimed P1 with a 33.6. Then you've got Bjorn Klassens in 2, Alan Brown in 3, Blanchett in 4, Gunter is in P5, so we need to keep an eye on him. Chica in 6, Nick the Stick in 7th, Raki in 8th, Vitali Kuzmenko in 9th. George is a name which I've not seen before in P10.
He is out on track still.
He is out on track, so someone will need to make sure he goes back to the pits. Craig Hill is in P12, Woody in 13th, Sauter in 14th, Barato in 16th, and Marco in Barato in 15th, Marco in 16th. Barry Gibbons didn't set a lap, and neither did Black Magic by the looks of things. Matteo Allegri also didn't set a lap, but I think he's out on track with an AM license on there. So let's keep an eye on What's his
Allegri's-
name? Where's he gone?
He's George is just returned to the pit lane.
Right. Okay. Cool. Or is he been returned, or has he returned
No,
to the?
he made a mistake through the chicane and then decided to go off track and just returned.
Is Adria supposed to be out still?
It will league Allegri because.
No, George is going back on track now. So.
Right. Okay. So if we can make sure that he remains in the pits, we've got Allegri, car number 1000, currently out on track. I think we'll leave him out there because he didn't do a qualifying lap in the previous iteration. That is my view of the world. But I'm not the admin for the series. I am the commentator.
And what did you say about car number 11?
He went back out on track and then went straight on at turn 2 and then was returned to pits. So I'm going to keep an eye on him and see if he goes back out.
Right. So
He is going back out.
Alright.
So I haven't looked and seen what the lap record is here, but it was been a very long time since we've done a lap at Oulton Park. So let's have a look.
You're already on it.
Always. So Machinachira did the previous fastest lap of a 33.357, and interestingly enough, 33.357. So Chris Fielder was only 2.5 tenths off that. So I'm expecting a new lap record in the next 4 minutes. So Alex Zachdel's gone P2 with a 33.657. Sky Lovering is in P3 with a 33.860. Chris Schneider's gone P5. Allegri in P6 and Michael Firth 7th are currently our pros that have set laps. We're on board with Michael Massey, last season's AM champion. Has been in the pros this season and has probably been about. He's had some good races, but largely remains in about the midfield in the pros. I think that's probably fair to say.
Is car 1000 a pro?
He's an AM, but I think it. So SimGrid do this thing now where they allow wildcards into series.
Right.
So people can sign up for a one-off race, and I think by default they put them into the AMs.
So Matteo Allegri's been in the season.
Is he?
He's in the championship.
Oh, is he? Oh right, okay. I haven't seen that name before. Oh,
I think there's one race and dies.
The mystery has thickened. So Allegri. Let's have a look. So standing.
Pretty sure he's in here. It's the only one I commentate on.
No, you've done.
I've done one thingy race with you, but
I can't see any Allegri in the AMs.
I've seen his name
I
before.
think he was a wild card. He was asking about it earlier.
Right. Okay. Well, regardless, we've let him. So he's been chased a few times by Chris Smiley. So there we go.
James, did you want to get my little camera sorted? Or?
We'll try between qualifying and the race,
Cool.
if that's okay. So Nigel O'Brien is currently top of the tree. He's set at 33.5, so he's gone a tenth quicker than Chris Fielder. Chris Fielder's time is pretty damn quick by the looks of things. Where is Mr. Nopek? Has he done a first attempt? He's not.
He is coming round the final corner now. But Matteo Allegri has just been disqualified.
Okay.
Yes.
And he's left the server by the looks of things as well.
No, he's not. He's been moved
No,
back.
he's still there.
He's back into P10. Right, so Thomas Nopek, Sky Lovering goes into the 32s with a 32.992, so that's the first driver to break into those times. Nopek goes P2 with a 33.0, so the fight is on between Lovering and Nopek. Zachdel's moved up to P3, Nigel O'Brien P4, Daniel Chris Schneider in P5. We've got a minute and 20 seconds left of qualifying. Dean Power, who's one of those drivers challenging for the podium positions at the end of the season, is currently in P9. Vincenzo Senadore is in P8 at the moment, so he's going to look to try and get ahead of Fielder and Claessens, who in amongst it in terms of the pros. Michael Massey slips himself into P7.
Sanatori just went off quick.
Yeah, just flick to that on my screen. We're going to have a night race as well. Track temperature is 13 degrees, so it's not going to be the warmest. So,
No, I think my race time will be down about 10 degrees if practice and go wide.
so we've got 30 seconds left of qualifying. I'm just turning my heater off because it's quite warm. Anyone
So
up
it's not
on...
13 degrees in your house then?
No. It is 23 at the moment.
Oh, what?
In the shed.
That's a hot summer's day.
It is. So who's up on their time? Who can we play with? So Daniel Schneider is just coming towards the end of his lap at the moment. His best lap is a 33.5, currently in 5th position, just going through the final corner now. Tricky in the Porsche to nail it down, get the braking zone, turn in and put the power down. Is Daniel Schneider going to improve? No, he does not. He's 2/10 slower. Thomas Nopek is just starting his final lap. Michael Massey currently in P7. Well, Dean Power is going to make a big jump here potentially in P10 in the Porsche. Crosses a line in P5. That's a fantastic lap. Michael Firth just invalidated his. Nico Veltman, who's been there or thereabouts for the last couple of weeks, currently in P14. 4/10 up on his lap. Is he going to drop into the 33s and potentially in 8th or 9th position? Nico Veltman in the Audi.
Nico Veltman is the last one to cross the line because Thomas Nopek lost it to Island Bend.
Oh God, you know actually the corners. So Nico.
I only know one corner.
Right. So Nico Veltman crosses the line in P10. That is the end of qualifying. I'm sorry, I managed to miss the end of the AMS qualifying. So in our grid that starts the race, so we got Skylar Lovering in P2. Then we got Thomas Nopek. Lovering in P1, Nopek in 2, Zach Dell 3, Nigel O'Brien in 4, Dean Power in 5, Chris Schneider 6th, Fielder 7th, top of the tree in the AMS, Michael Massey in 8th, Klassen 2nd in the AMS in 9th, Nico Veltman in 10th, Senadori might feel disappointed with himself in 11th, Michael Firth in 12th, Stranvanella in 13th, Demokos Kish 14th, Allegeri in 15th, Bjorn Dale in 16th. Then we got Fresh Brizzle in 17th, one of those podium contending drivers with Blanchett in 18th, Sergio Azario in 19th. Then got Gunter, who's currently leading the championship in the AMS in P20th, Gavin Taylor in 21, Chica in 22, Nick the Stick in 23rd, Raki in 24, Vitaly Kuzmenko in 25th, George in 26th. Then we got Craig Hill in 27th, Woody in 28th, Sauter 29th, Barato in 30th, Marco in 31st, Black Magic in 32nd, and Barry Gibbons in 33rd. Lap record was different spreadsheet. Lap record was a 33.3, so it's been broken essentially. Is the quick key moment. Ryan, you're going to share a little bit of your screen, I believe.
Yes, I need access to this server.
Right, okay. 2 seconds. Sorry, we're having, as always, everything is rushed. So, not integrations. I want this one. Add member. Ryan S. There we go. You should now have permission to share your screen. So we've got a couple of minutes before the drivers start to go out on their formation laps. You're sharing your screen, so watch stream. So you're gonna notice some disturbance in the force as we move from that into stop moving around on your screen to that. Drivers are starting to start their
You have
end.
now made everything massive.
Oh yeah, that's the intention. I want to make everything massive. Makes me feel better in life.
That's what I want.
Sorry, this is
Oh, so prepared.
always.
Do you know what? When you said that they've defined Oulton Park, Yeah, Oulton Park was going to be a night race. I was like, yeah, nah, not happening, not happening. I thought he was joking, it was a night race.
No, it's always been the night race.
You do go off of real life time, don't you? Of what time it is.
No, real life weather.
Real life
How is it
weather.
real life weather?
No.
I'm saying if it's real life time, then it would make sense because it is dark.
We did do one series. Was it the long run? I think it was. One of them that we had all the tracks were at the time that it would be at our time. So, like us, Bathurst would be like 9 hours ahead. We'd had the exact times for them. And the correct weather and things, so there was a nice mixture of daytime and nighttime and colder and hotter weathers throughout the whole time.
So, drivers are now doing their formation laps. Remember, there is no pit stop. It is just 25 minutes of pure fun and carnage. We are trying to keep an eye on what's going to happen in both the pros and the AMs. I have a spreadsheet which nobody can see, which will hopefully keep us up to date with the timings, with the live positions. So, hey, wish us luck.
Good luck!
Oh god.
Where's my pancakes?
Sorry?
Where's my pancakes?
Do you know what? I haven't had any pancakes today yet.
Pancake day, innit?
It is. It's Shrove Tuesday.
It's pancake day to me, not Shrove Tuesday. Don't know what Shrove Tuesday is. It's pancake day.
Stroke's a fancy word for a pancake.
Is it?
I
Well,
don't
like
know.
crepes.
I don't know.
Why are we talking about pancakes when it's race time?
You brought it up.
You brought it up.
We'll blame Derek for it.
No, everybody on the comms heard it was you, including everybody in the chat. I don't take the blame.
Right. So Ryan, you're going to keep an eye on the front. I have no idea what's happened to the entry list, Chris. You're going to keep an eye on the front. I'm going to keep an eye on Chris Fielder in the AMs. The drivers are now just going into double file. And we're going to see what happens.
Oh, we've got Blanchett all the way in the grass.
He's just come back on track from my point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slipped off at the corner. Although Ludwig Thompson went off as well.
Yeah. Oulton Park is just ridiculously tight.
Yeah.
In terms of drivers and trying to get on the track. Lights are obviously going to be difficulty in trying to identify who's who on track, but we can see Chris Fielder. The drivers are just coming up to the start-finish line now, ready to get going, and we are go. Chris Fielder hasn't had the best of start. He's in danger. He's already been overtaken by Michael Massey. Nico Veltman's going to try and go around the outside as they make it through turn 1. It looks as though everyone's got through pretty cleanly. Thomas Nopek leads the way once again from Skylar Lovering, who has been jumped into turn 1 as they go down towards the left-hander.
Somebody in the wall.
Somebody's in the wall. It looks like Allegri and Firth. Interestingly,
I think Oz is off as well.
So I can see Alan Brown, Michael Firth's in 14th, 13th. So there is a couple of cars. Looks like Alan Brown falling down the grid quite rapidly.
Blanchett off as well.
Blanchett is caught as well.
Kish is off at the hairpin.
Oh,
yes, it's interesting what's going on tonight.
It is indeed. So where is Gunter? Gunter is 15th at the moment. I'm not sure where that is in terms of the AMs. I think that is 3rd, because I don't think Allegri is an AM. We're just seeing Michael Firth go a little bit straight on at the hairpin. He's just rejoined the track back in 15th position. At the top of the tree. At the top of the tree, we've got Thomas Nopek, who's leading the way by just over a second from Skylar Lovering in P2. Alex Zachdel P3. Nigel O'Brien fighting going down in towards the final corner.
There was definitely some incidents that happened, but I think that went quite as well as could expect, really.
Well, from a car that not many people race at. a track that not many people
track,
race
yeah.
at. It didn't go too badly, and we've got our main title protagonist of Novak Lovering currently firing away in the pros. I can't. Senadore's up to P8, and Dean Power is in P5 for the pros. In the AMs, you can see we have Chris Fielder is currently in P6, so P1 in the AMs, and Gunter is in P2 in the AMs. So there's only going to be a point separating between those two cars. And in the bottom right hand corner, you can see what happened to Brizzle. He got tipped on the right rear corner of his car and then moved off into the wall. Has he stayed in the pits?
That was your favourite person, Floppy Fox, I'm pretty sure. They killed him.
Well, we've got Chris Schneider and Alan Brown both in the pits at the moment. So they were involved in those incidents right at the beginning of the race. We got Senadore in P8 trying to climb up through the grid after, well, probably a disappointing qualifying for him. Domokos Kish is challenging Ian Thompson. So BMW versus McLaren. McLaren, I seem to think, might not be too bad at this track.
Mr. Clarson's is not having a very good race. He's down into P32.
P32.
So
I think he was one of the guys that went out the first lap coming down the hill.
Yeah. So Domokos Kish is almost pushing Ian Thompson through the final corner there.
Yeah, it was definitely a wee dry bump.
It was a little tap. Gavin Taylor and Chris Sauter in P19 and P20 for fighting away, I think. Barato. So Sauter's just gained a position. There was a car disappearing, which was Barato by the looks of things, who's just cutting some grass at Oulton Park round the side. Has now rejoined in P27, or is still continuing to bounce across the grass with his lights flashing. Not quite sure what happened to him, but he's persisting with this interesting racing line of going across the grass. In car number 4. Maybe he's got some severe damage to his steering wheel.
I think he's staying out everybody's way, yeah.
Yeah, so, well, fair play.
Brizzle says his race is done.
Yes. Yeah.
In the chat.
Desperate to be AM next season, aren't you, Brizzle? That's why you're staying in the pits rather than going out for some extra practice ahead of race 2. Right. But Bjorn Claessens has gone back past Barry Gibbons by the looks of things. I can't, due to the light issues that we're having, I can't quite see if there's damage. We've got George and Vitali who have made contact. George has moved ahead of Vitali into P22nd. Michael Firth is right on the back of Bjorn Dale. Bjorn Dale loves to be on the stream.
Yeah, he's on quite a lot.
He is. In that Mercedes, he always wants to appear on the stream. Alex Zachtel is right up the backside of Skylar Lovering and for the fight for P2. Alex doesn't enjoy second races this season, and has always had an issue where he's put on old tyres or he's put on the wrong setup.
Yeah, Zachtel. Oh, Zachtel things happening to Zachy.
Yeah, he can't even say Honda does Honda things this season.
It's not even the Honda's fault or anything. It's all down to mismanagement, I would say.
Yeah. So, I'm not quite sure how the results are going to work because it's showing the Leggeri is in the AM. I'm assuming something just hasn't been ticked somewhere along the lines. So I'm going to go with the assumption that he's a pro and Gunter is second in the AMs currently, which means that 3-point gap now looks like it's going to become a 2-point gap.
Although we're putting him in as a wild card, his points won't count, I don't think, towards the final tally.
I don't know.
It is a new feature on SimGrid, but that could quite easily hamper someone's championship if he manages to beat everybody.
Well, it's not only that. It's what happens if someone if one of these wildcards takes out one of the leaders.
Yes, yeah, that's.
Well, it could.
Obviously, the penalties would still go against that driver, but if because of their position, you miss out the championship by 1 point. Is that going to cause some issues?
So Allegri has
People
been
being
signed up
upset.
for the last 3 races, but he's DNS'd them, or did not start them. So he's not a wild card.
No. Yes, he's not a wild card.
I just don't know why he's showing up as Nam.
Is he a pro?
Apparently, yes. Allegri is a pro on Simgrid too.
How many races has he done?
I don't know.
Well, you've got all the sheets in front of you.
I'm looking at the...
I always look somewhere else instead of what you're meant to be doing.
Well, we got Demokos Kish currently chasing down...
It's still the same situation, Thompson.
Yep. What's his...
What's it?
I can't... I'm trying to figure out how you spell A-G-L. Matteo Allegri has done 2 races here in FRL. And he is a pro, 75.5. His status, his hot stint is a 43.9. So he's pretty damn quick. So Sergio looks like he's in the pits because he's in the chats and said that was fun.
That's it.
That was fun not. So he's now in P31. He desperately wants to get into the AMs for next season so he can compete in the rookies again. Michael,
so he can win the rookies again.
Yes, Michael Massey is 3 tenths behind Chris Fielder in P6. Ryan, are you alive?
Yeah, I'm alive. I'm just sorting my pancakes out.
That's a very, very dejected man that's not going to pancakes yet.
No, I've got my pancakes now.
Right, okay, well, we'll leave Ryan and his pancakes. Meanwhile, we got Nigel O'Brien. So, Zach Dow was chasing down Skylar. He's now being chased down by Nigel O'Brien in the Honda. So, Nigel O'Brien...
Oh, we got a wreck at the hairpin.
It looks like Michael Firth is involved.
Yeah, it's Bjorn Dale and Michael Firth.
Yeah, they're now going side by side into the right-hander. It looks like Michael Firth has got ahead of them into the chicane. Demokos Kish is also in the mix, so he's now separated Firth and Dale. Thompson, meanwhile, has moved up to P13.
Yes, he managed to take advantage. They all went 3 wide. Thompson had the acceleration because they were coming back on track.
Brizzle, if you finish this mode, make sure you do a lap, because otherwise you're going to lose 4 points for a no-show because you haven't done a lap. So we're on board with Michael Firth. Michael Firth is now 3 tenths of a second behind Ian Thompson as they head into the final corner to go up the start-finish straight. Because one of the things we mentioned before the race was the undulation here at Oulton Park. So Sergio, I hit someone from behind and then got hit from behind, and bye-bye push.
Well, you destroyed both ends that are very important for driving.
Yeah.
Handling, front and back.
So
no wings, no split off, nothing.
So Nigel O'Brien currently in P4. Again, back within 4 tenths of a second behind Alex Zagdal.
Lambo's out.
Is that Barretto?
Barretto, yeah, he's just went out. You know the wall, tyre wall at the.
Oh yeah, he's back on track.
He did.
I'm sure he must have hit that. Yeah, he must have hit that hard though. I mean,
he went into turn 1 straight on into the barrier and limped around the track, cut the chicanes and went to the pit lane. And obviously he's just come back out.
Yeah, he's just hit the wall again though since he came back out. Going into the hairpin.
Possibly not repaired his damage.
No, I just watched him crash into the wall.
Oh no, he's had another incident basically.
Woody's spun it.
38 has got a drive through.
Mr. Nick the Stick.
Track limits already. Oof.
Well, yeah, I suppose if you miss the chicane 3 times.
Oh, big crash.
Yeah, I can just see on your screen is that's Nick the Stick and George.
George and Barretto were involved.
Oh, so Barretto was a lapped car involved in all that. Oh, Jesus!
Yeah, that's
That is Craig Hill. Trying to pass him.
Might be worth someone keeping an eye on George and seeing what happens with his car for the rest of the race, if that's possible. Derek?
who's George?
George is
Number 11.
Number 11. If we can keep an eye on him, and I trust your judgment. So Nigel
So
O'Brien.
I'm the bad person then.
Well, no, I trust your judgment. Nigel O'Brien is still 0.7 of a second. Let's have a look at Michael Firth and Ian Thompson, currently fighting.
Oh no!
Sauter?
Mhm.
Sauter's cutting some grass at the hairpin.
Yeah,
and that was not the best use of your time there, Chris.
That was a cherry on top.
It
I mean,
was.
it would explain he is a Honda. Honda doing Honda things.
Yeah, Honda doing Honda things and Chris doing Chris things as well, by the looks of things. I'm not sure who the car is behind him. Is that Black Magic?
Magic.
Yeah, it's Black Magic.
Be Jam Mag.
So Black Magic in car number 1. Yeah.
As Nick the Sticker spun over through the chicane.
Barretto is not having fun with that Lambo for sure.
No, it's definitely not. And we got Barry Gibbons in 27th, and Bjorn Klassens, I don't think is having fun in P28th either. He struggles when he's not at the front of the field, I think, with
Did you say that Allegri was a pro?
He's a pro on SimGrid, yes.
Okay, so...
So that means that Gunter is currently P2 and Ian Thompson's currently P3. We're looking at Michael Firth challenging P3 Ian Thompson. Obviously Ian Thompson is in the AMs, Michael Firth is in the pros, with Kish and Dale also in the pros. Also trying to keep an eye on Nigel O'Brien versus Alex Zachdel as they go into the final corner. That's ebbing and flowing between half a second, 0.2 of a second and half a second. The overtaking has not been easy in this race so far.
So Mr. Michael Firth, Mr. Floppy Fox, is currently trying to make a move on Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, he's been behind him for some time. That BMW was difficult to pass. Ian Thompson got a bit squirrely there, didn't he? And Mike.
Yeah, Ian did, and then Mr. Floppy Fox had the same reaction and nearly ended his race as well.
But what that's done is put Floppy Fox under extreme pressure from Domokos Kish. In fact, Domokos Kish has just gone past him into turn 1. So Domokos Kish moves up to P14. We've got a Barato coming back out of the pit. Floppy Fox going onto the grass, which is not the quickest way around Oulton Park. We've got Nigel O'Brien still hunting the back of Alex Zachdel. And interestingly enough, Skylar Lovering has pulled back in Thomas Nopek in P1.
The Tully just made a mistake and went off track.
I think Nopek made a mistake because
he was quite far ahead.
Yeah.
Have a look. Because he did make a couple of mistakes during the qualifying session from when I was watching. So there might be something going on with Mr. Nopek.
Well, Chris, hopefully my commentating is making the pictures so much brighter. I haven't gone into full shouty mode, so Stran Vanella's had a little bit of an issue. He's now under pressure from Gunter, who's P2 in the AMS. Chris Fielder's gone off. Chris Fielder's just rejoined back in the track. He's still P1 in the AMS, however, he is now P10 overall. Stran Vanella's gone into P11. I'm not sure if there was contact between the two drivers, and Gunter now is only, well, he's still 10-11 seconds behind, but they've got a little bit closer in terms of the track.
A slight mistake in the first chicane, but Sergio Azario is off track. He's going through the little cutout in the foam wall.
I think Pugachev's problem is everything's fine for a while, and then once in a blue moon he just has a major lag spike, and the car's everywhere.
Lag spike?
Yeah, he's just bounced about the track for a couple of seconds, and then he's perfectly fine again.
Okay, what's his ping like?
It's in right above the green.
Oh,
That
Mr.
yellow.
Firth's gone off and lost the place to Mokosh Kish.
Yeah, that,
Right,
I
other
thought
than
that
that, his
happened earlier.
driving's been fine.
Okay, so
Other than that.
Michael Firth, yeah, that happened a few laps ago. So Ian
So he
Thompson
just
is
gone off track again.
Ian Thompson's now right behind Gunter. So Gunter's dropped
Oh,
quite a bit of time. Ian
Mr.
Thompson.
Firth just rear-ended Sergio Azario.
Oh, nice. Oh, poor Floppy Fox. Poor Sergio.
What has just happened?
I don't know. But look, I'm not sure where Floppy Fox is. So he's P27 by the looks of things. So he's in the pits. Sergio Azario in P32. He's going round the track. So no issues there. Half a second separates Skylar Lovering and Thomas Nopek at the front of the grid. Allegri is now 0.4 of a second behind Vincenzo Senadori. We've got 7 minutes of the race left. Gunter's now pulled away from Ian Thompson. Mokosh Kish is going to resume the battle with Ian Thompson for P13. Currently, as it stands, Chris Fielder will move a point closer to Gunter in the championship. So we got
Aguilera's got by him.
yes.
Chris Fielder.
Yes.
Sorry, I was concentrating on what was going on my screen to make sure that we didn't have a road driver.
Just
Oh, oh, that's a bad rejoin.
Who's that?
Woo.
What? Barry.
That was whoever was in the Mercedes second place for the arms. Went off at the fast left-hander, went onto the grass, managed to slot it down enough to get through the gap in the wall. But as it came on, there was cars there. It was very dangerous, very lucky it didn't happen.
So that
If you
Gunter.
if you find where Thompson was at on this lap and then go back to the hairpin, you'll see what happened.
So that kind of brings all change in terms. Well, it hasn't brought all change in the championship, but it's brought things an awful lot close. It's brought Fielder a little bit of breathing space, so he's going to have a 2-point advantage over Gunter. So that brings it within 1 point ahead of the final race, which makes things a little bit more exciting. So Racky's currently in P16, which is the Gunter's next problem on track potentially.
I'm not sure if Gunter actually catched there.
So we look at. I'm having a look at Ryan's screen at the moment. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is that the dangerous rejoin, isn't it?
yeah.
I'm not sure what happened to him.
We went straight on and then went straight through the chicane and then just come right back on and then closed
the hairpin.
Yeah. It also looked like there was a car off track.
There was a Sergio Azario which got hit by Mr. Firth.
Okay. So Veltman and Senadori have potentially made a little bit of contact in P7 and 8. Skylar Lovering is now back within 0.3 of a second of Thomas Nopek, but it looks as though Thomas Nopek is approaching quite a few back markers. And with 4 minutes left of a 25-minute race, I'm not quite sure what's happened. Nopek is allowed to go through the first of those obstacles, which I think is a Honda, judging by the backside. Skylar Lovering is also allowed through quite successfully. They now approach the tricky left-hander at the bottom of the hill. So Thomas Nopek leads away, but that gap is now 0.4 of a second. Hopefully the drivers start to allow Thomas and Skylar through down the straight, as we got a car parked on the side of the track. Not sure who that is, but Thomas Nopek approaching the hairpin towards a Honda. Honda moves out of the way. Oh, with it, Lovering is going to get back in closer. He has a little bit of a better time passing the back marker and close back in on Thomas Nopek slightly. What happened?
We've had another Gunter scary rejoin.
So what Gunter needs?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, where he goes through the hairpin and he does it.
He does it two laps in a row.
So he catches. He doesn't catch Chica, Ian Thompson, but he does come out and catch Kish as far as I know.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely. I think that was Kish coming past in the McLaren.
Yeah.
What Gunter needs to be very mindful of is if an incident is raised and he receives penalty points, it also affects his total number of points he has in the championship. So he could potentially lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, which would then put him in a very different position than one he's in now. He's also at the point of losing 2 points to Chris Fielder as it is, so that brings the championship back down to 1 point. We've got Skylar Lovering now all over the back of Thomas Nopek as they've gone through the back markers for the time being. Looking in the distance, there's a car approaching turn 3. So yes, it's all starting to heat up with just under 3 minutes of the race left. We've got Gunter now right on the back of Domokos Kish in the McLaren. What this is doing is allowing Ian Thompson to get more space. Gunter's trying to go around the outside. Kish defends. Gunter will be anxious to try and get past the McLaren so we can then start to challenge Ian Thompson for P2. And I knowing Chica the way we know Chica, he's not going to be the most willing to allow any drivers past.
Oh no, he won't. At the moment, I'm just wondering if he's not going to kill himself. He's driving like a man possessed. We also have Gibbons just gone off. Yeah, he's playing donuts in the grass.
And the driver that you were saying about just a minute ago, James, it is Mr. Woody. He is just in front of Nopek and Lovering. So they'll be coming across him in the next half lap or so.
Yeah, just noticed Barry Gibbons was under a yellow flag. Blanchett has passed him. We've got Floppy Fox who's in the pits. Skylar Lovering is now all over the back of Thomas Nopek as we approach the hairpin. He's going to close in a little bit more, heading out of the hairpin. The Mercedes looms large in the front windscreen of... Oh, that's Blanchett. I don't want to click on him, sorry. The Mercedes looms large, the Ferrari looms large in the back rear view mirror of the Mercedes. They'll just have 2 laps remaining of this race. Domokos Kish is within 0.2 of a second of Ian Thompson as well. Chris
242's got a drive through.
242. Who's 242?
I don't know. I'm looking just now.
242 is for Federico Strambanella, and Gunter's just gone past him. So I think Strambanella may have...
Ryan Blanchett has just spun. This is not going well for Ryan Blanchett.
No, so Strambanella goes... Yeah. Sorry,
he's
go on.
very much had a downfall from last season, from when I was racing alongside him. It just doesn't seem to be...
I think he's better off in the longer races, in the PSG rather than the 25-minute super sprint.
I don't know, because I done this last season, and when I was in the AMS, he was always on the back of me. I don't know if the different tracks.
I think the difference as well comes down to sometimes your luck.
Yeah,
you can have a very unlucky season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the races that I had last season were very, very lucky, as Thomas Nopek's just held off Skylar Lovering for the win.
And he has indeed. So Thomas Nopek wins. Skylar Lovering in P2. Alex Zachdel P3. Nigel O'Brien 4. Michael Massey comes across the line in P5 with Dean Power in P6. Nico Veltman gets P7. Vincenzo Senadori in P8. Egaleri Matteo in P9. Chris Fielder wins the AMS in P10. Ian Thompson with a fantastic second in P11. Gunter is going to claim P3 in the AMS. Then we've got Domokos Kish, who's fallen back a little bit on that fight in P13.
Wrecking Magic coming across the line in P4.
That's a great result from him. So Bjorn Dale gets 14, 15 or P4 in the AMS is Raki. Gavin Taylor gets 16. Strampanella will claim 17. George in 18th. Oh, there's a Nick the Stick trying to overtake him. And that is for position as well. So we might get a little bit of... Oh, Nick the Stick! I think he's just giving George a little punt.
Oh!
and that stays 18th and 19th. Black Magic's going to try and go through, and Black Magic has gone through and passed Nick the Stick, so that's going to be George 18th, Black Magic 19th, Nick the Stick in 20th. We've got Woodward in 21st, Sauter in 22nd, Classens 23rd, Vitali 24th, Marco 25, Ryan Blanchett 26, Gibbons 27th, Hill 28th, Brizzle, Stefano Barato, Michael Firth, Sergio Azario and Chris Schneider finished in the pits. I'm going to attempt to try and key in some results. You guys talk about what happened in the last race.
I'll let you start, Mr. Dell, so you can have your nap.
Stuff.
Just checking something that was asked. No, he did not serve his quali ban.
Who?
Smiley's asking if he served his quali ban, Mr. Stick. I didn't know he had a quali ban, but no, he didn't serve it if that's the case.
So, 1, 2, 3, 11.
James is calculating.
Yeah. There's a reason why I wouldn't. I kind of pulled out of the championship, and it was mainly this race. And I think I made a good decision because it's not been the greatest of races for many people. And I think if I had done this race, I would have been in the wall numerous amounts of times. So let's hope that the second race is a bit more.
Right, so we're just having a look at the championship as it is. So 40 points. So I'm just gonna double check something before I prematurely
mess up the
Results
results for the championship standings.
So the Skylar Lovering is 52 points behind Thomas Nopek. So Thomas Nopek, congratulations, you are the champion of the Pro Series once again. Skylar Lovering is in P2. Dean Powers 25 points behind him, so there's still an opportunity. Senadore is in P4. So Dean Powers in P3. Senadore is 15 points behind him in P4, and then Bjorndale's a further 33 points behind. In terms of the AM Championship, Gunter is 1 point ahead of Chris Fielder. So Gunter is on 487 and Chris Fielder is on 486. 29 points behind Fielder is Gavin Taylor on 457. Alan Brown, I haven't keyed in his results because he DNF'd anyway. He's on 368, and Ryan Blanchett is in. I haven't keyed in his results either. So the main three we're looking at is Gunter, Chris, and Gavin Taylor. I think Gavin Taylor has secured P3 in the championship, but congratulations to Thomas Nopek. You have won the pro section. Gunter and Chris Fielder, that's going to be fun for the next race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always good to have the race come down to the final. It's when everyone gets get their elbows out and go for it, which is always quite good. Let's just hope that the in-game Michael Massey isn't the real-life Michael Massey and turns the championship on his head.
No, he sat in this room with us, isn't he, Derek?
Say that again?
No, Derek, no, this is so not right.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, I was there when that happened.
Just remember that, okay, we've got the race on the track, and that's obviously going to decide things, but there is still any instance that might be raised, and we might have seen Gunter involved in one or two. And then we've also got, so that's going to impact due to time penalties, and also potentially point penalties in terms of the championship as well. So it's not all over for, it's all over for Thomas Nopek, because no matter what, pretty much no matter what happens, he is going to win. He's won Tier 1, but in terms of the AM tier, that is still all open. We are just starting the qualifying for the second time around, so we will have 16 minutes of qualifying fun. the AMs will go out first for the first 8 minutes, and then we'll have the pros. So Alan Brown is currently the first driver out on the grid, and this could be interesting because Gunter had a few struggles in the last race, so he's going to want to try and qualify as far higher up on the positions as possible. And Gunter, Chris Fielder, is also going to want to be quite a way away from Gunter in terms of the positions on track. We will have the pros obviously mixed in with these drivers as well. So, all fun and games. Again, I probably agree with the assessment. GT3 cars are a bit big for this track.
They are. They're too big for this track.
But it's nice to race at Oulton Park occasionally.
Yeah, it's good to race out, but my preferable choice would be or Super Cup or the GT4s or the M2.
Yeah, nobody ever races in the GT4, sadly, with us. We've tried numerous of times. We've actually, next season for the British GT, we've got GT3 cars and GT4 cars on the same track. And so Sergio says, next time I think of choosing the Porsche, just kick me from the server. You'd have to kick me first.
Haven't we got a Silverstone 500 coming up?
Yes.
GT3s, GT.
I'm not sure what cars are in that one. I'm away. I'm going to be drunk in. I'm going to be drunk in another part of the country.
I'm in a Camaro with Sergio, Oz, and Smiley.
How long is that race for? 500? Is that 500 miles?
300. 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Saturday. I will be very drunk on that day, so.
Well, it's 300. It's like 3 hours, but it's not going to be like 500 miles for the GT4s.
No. So.
Okay, so apparently next server on the PSG race. Sorry, not today.
Huh?
It's qualifying's not today. It's for Friday.
Yes. Okay, that's good news. Was that Nick the Stick, was it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Sergio just informed everyone.
Good.
Mr. Head Steward nowadays.
Well.
Or only steward, maybe.
Right, so James put a we all dip in. All the admins dip into the stewarding, to be fair. James puts a complicated lock on Discord, so when you're drunk you can't cause havoc. Again. And if you haven't heard, last time I got drunk, and I might have done some things, but I'm going to leave my phone in Wales next time. My lovely wife's coming in with a coffee. Thank you very much, dear. Tea.
I think we should give you an all-access pass for the next time you go drinking.
What? Sorry?
All-access pass to Discord when you go drinking next time.
No, just leave me as like a new joiner in the server or something.
A noob.
Yeah.
A newbie drinker. Doesn't know.
For a moment. Right, I think I'm back in the room now. Can you hear me again? Is anyone else there? Derek?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, right, okay.
What happened? Did you
I
close the chat for a minute?
No. I think I knocked my USB out.
Cause Smiley said lost sound.
Right, yes, that was me.
And that they can hear now, so.
Yeah, that was me, and once again my incompetent striking.
Karma for your drunken experience.
Well, not yet. I haven't done anything wrong yet this time.
I didn't say you have yet, but...
Yet. Right. So we got 10 minutes left. So we got just under 3 minutes left for the AMs to complete their qualifying. Alan Brown's currently fastest with a 34.6. Fielder's second with a 34.0. Fielder's second with a 34.3. Gunter is in third with a 34.5. With Claessens with a 34.7. It's 5/10 quicker than Ian Thompson, who managed a second place last time. Right. Simon Turner, yet being the right word, yeah. I assume I haven't done anything wrong yet. That was in reference to, yeah. Fortunately enough, I don't think everyone knew. Nobody really noticed what I did. Essentially, the main bits were I was trying to reduce the number of championships that we've run to loosen the load, and we ended up putting on exactly the same amount of championships as what before I tried to reduce the number of championships. So that was my main failure. I was a bit happy and drunk, and we ended up deciding to carry on the late night stuff again. Matteo Allegri is out with the AMS this time. He's currently 4/10 of a second up, and is absolutely flying. So he's on for 33.6 at the moment in terms of his lap time in the Aston Martin. Ryan's taking a close look up and down the pit lane.
Yeah. As we're still missing the lovely livery from the Wiz NSX. Was it the Wiz NSX? Number 45?
What car number's that?
He is so he is registered as an AM, however, registered as a pro, but he's showing up as an AM for some reason on the entry list. So he's doing the qualifying now. Chris Fielder's going even quicker than him, so I don't think there's much to worry. He pops in a 33.8. Allegri popped in a 33.9, so he rocks up in P3. I think his points are going to count as pro points rather than AM points. Not quite sure what happened before the race, but if you scroll up in the chat, you'll be able to see some of the discussions from Chris Jones in terms of what potentially may or may not have happened. We got 30 seconds left to qualify, and Alan Brown's going quicker, currently in P4. Let's make sure I've got that turned off. So he's approaching the final corner at the moment. Chris Fielder's going even faster again by 4/10 of a second. 40 seconds into his lap, so he could be going for a 33.4 at this rate, which is absolutely insane. Alan Brown going through the final corner. He's 2/10 of a second up at the moment. Is this going to improve his position on the grid? Currently P4. Does he move up the standings? He does not. He stays P4 with a 33.9, just half a tenth behind Allegri. Chris Fielder's going quicker, but Gavin Taylor's going faster as well in P7. Currently 35.3. This is going to bring him comfortably into the 34s. Yes, it does. It moves him up to P5. That's a great lap from him. Nick the Stick also just about to cross the line in P8. Moves up to P6. Could hear Derek angrily typing on the keyboard. Raki just crosses the line, moves up to P8. That's a good jump up from him. Allegri pops in a 33.8 as well, so he's gone faster than Chris Fielder. So Chris Fielder didn't manage to finish off his lap time. So Allegri starts in P1, but we know he's a pro. So we got Chris Fielder in P2. Then we got Claessens, Brown, Taylor, Nick the Stick. Gunter is in P7 overall. Raki in 8th. Thompson second last time out in 9th. Ryan Blanchett in 10th. I'm just going to make sure you can see cars move around on the track. Then we got Vitali in 11th. Craig Hill in 12th. George in 13th. Sauter in 14th. Black Magic 15th. Bruato in 16th. Woodward in 17th. Barry Gibbons in 18th. And Marco in 19th. Do you know what? One thing I will say is that round 7 of the championship in the sprints, where we traditionally haven't had great numbers towards the end of the season, has actually got great numbers at the end of the season, which is absolutely brilliant. And it just shows the progression that we've been on. Even though a certain other league has restarted again on Tuesdays, it hasn't actually affected us this time.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
No.
But I'm having a guess that it has three letters as the acronym.
It does. But we also have 3 letters as an acronym.
Yes,
I thought
LRF.
LRF. Imagine. League something.
League Racing Formula.
Yeah, League Racing Formula. Yeah. Sounds like a Harry Potter potion that you take to be fast.
It's what Yoda would say if he was to it.
I have no idea what you two are on about, and I don't think I want to know.
I was kind of making a hint towards about Hogwarts Legacy, but
Have you had many adverts today for Hogwarts Legacy, Derek?
No. I might wait until it's cheaper. I'm a miserly sweet Scotsman.
do you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the computers just listen to us because as soon as you buy a game, the advert for that game just disappears.
Funnily enough, I've had one advert and that was during the podcast and I've not seen a single one yet. Touch wood.
Right, run ads.
Don't you dare.
I think I can actually just press a button that just says
You
run
can,
ads.
you can run a 30-second ad whenever you feel like it.
Oh, you do that to me all the time, then.
Oh no, he's not doing it, he's not done it, he's trying to figure out how to do it.
No,
It's just that
I know.
It will do it itself as well.
Yeah, I've only had so you set the adverts up and then it just pre-rolls, but you can also on Twitch just press a button and the ads roll. So there we go. Right, so Nigel O'Brien.
It makes a change for me getting 130 seconds of bloody ads all the time.
I can pre-roll 130 seconds ads if you really want to.
That's usually what I get is 3 ads, one after the other, 30 seconds long. When I'm on here. I'm like, sheesh.
But do you know what? We moan about the ads, and I moan about the ads as well. To be honest, if I'm watching another league stream for whatever reason, and the advert comes off, I'll just turn it off. But I'm hoping you 15 viewers stay with us.
24 I'm
dancing
seeing.
man. Join the dance. I found some dancing men. I'm going to join.
Right, Skylar Lovering goes fastest. He's popped in a 32.9. I'm not sure where Mr. Nopek is yet. So he's invalidated.
Nopek, I'm watching just now, he's invalidated all of his laps so far. I don't know if he's invalidated at the moment though.
Mr. Nopek's coming past me right now. Going up
And
the
it's,
hill.
it appears to be the first corner that he's been invalidating at. Getting too far out.
I think I said the lap record is a 33.3 off the top of my head earlier.
So, yeah.
Earlier on, I can double check.
You did say it got broken in the first qualifying, but
Yeah,
you then have been telling me that it's the second qualifying that counts.
Do you know what?
33.3.
Do you know what? It's so inconsistent. It depends who's the admin of the series, who loads the first qualifying, and who loads the second qualifying. So,
Yeah.
do you know what?
As I said, I always done second. But first qualifying was always the one I avoided. So I don't know.
I would always load the second, because in theory that should be faster. But, hey ho. Nigel O'Brien's got a yellow flag. Sky Lovering is just coming back out of the pits after a short break, so he's going to have time just enough to do another lap. Michael Firth is currently in P9. Thomas Nopek is on another lap at the moment. So he is about halfway through the lap, so we're going to try and stay with him until the end. We've got him.
Still on course for an actual time this time.
He is. So he says he's 1.2 seconds up on his 33.6 at the moment, according to the data I can see. I don't always trust the data I can see. So we'll wait and see, because now it says he's 1.5 seconds up than the 133.5, which would mean a 32.1, which would be pretty insane.
He's not put in any laps as yet, so I don't think that information is correct.
No, I don't think so either. His best lap apparently is a 16 minute and 26 seconds. So we'll wait and see how this transpires.
That is a hot lap, that is.
That's my lap round Oulton Park. So Thomas Nopek crosses the line, he goes P2.
Yeah.
So he did a 33.1. Skylar
So
Love.
Laverick's got 32.9.
Mm-hmm.
That is a record, but it depends whether this one goes up or not.
Yes.
No picks sliding all through the.
Yeah, he's
Second
3/10 of a second down. He won't have time to do another lap. So this is him done and dusted for qualifying. Daniel Krishnaider's massively up on his time, almost a second up on his 34.9. So car number 14, currently in P20. I'm expecting him to shoot up the standings as we approach the last corner of the track. So Daniel Krishnaider approaching the braking zone, trying to nail that in the Porsche off camber. Just feels wrong going through that final corner. Daniel Krishnaider crosses the line, P20 to P9. That is a good jump from him. Nopek has done his qualifying. Skylar Lovering looks as though he's claimed P1. Alex Zachtel. Yeah, so Senatores now is in the pits. Alex Zachtel is in P4. Nigel O'Brien is the only driver that could potentially claim.
Did he get round in time?
What? Who?
O'Brien.
Yeah, he says he's 27, 28, 29 seconds in, and he's green for me. So he can potentially still improve. Daniel Krishnaider can still improve. We've got Michael Massey just crossing the line. He's moved up to P9, so that's a good improvement from him. We've got Dean Power also trying to improve on his lap time as well. So let's try. Who are we going to go with? Krishnaider? No, we're going to go with Dean Power. Dean Power currently quite low down in P15. He wants to secure that third place in the championship. Then we'll flick over to Nigel O'Brien, providing he's still on a lap. We've got Daniel Krishnaider, who's also trying to improve as well. So Dean Power approaching the second to last corner. Yep. Heading down the hill now. Stay over to the left-hand side of the track. Go across a couple of more bumps into the final braking zone in the Porsche. For the final time in qualifying this season, Dean Power is 0.2 of a second down, so there's not going to be an improvement there.
All that build up and then you realise your mistake.
Yeah, so Nigel O'Brien crosses a line in P5, stays P5, so no improvement from him. Krishnaider moves up to P9. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of qualifying for the final time this season in Timpsons Super Sprint. We are now back on the grid, and I will try and do a recap of everything in terms of where everyone finished. So we'll start from the back, as traditional way. So Nico Veltman, one of the pros, didn't manage to set a time. He's in P33. Marco P32. Barry Gibbons 31. Neil Woodward in 30th. Stefano Barato had a fantastic time in the Lamborghini last time out in P29. Black Magic, who got that last gap position gain in 28th. Chris Sauter in Honda doing Honda things in 27th. George, we don't know where you've come from, in P26. Clive Hill in P25. Sergio, I've parked at the hairpin. Ozario in P24. Vitalio Kuzmenko in 23rd. Ryan Blanchett, the Budweiser drinking man, in 22nd. Ian, I once got a second place. Thompson in 21st. Raki Maj in I Don't Like to Race on Mondays in 20th. Gunter, our current championship leader, in 19th. Nick the Stick in P18. Gavin Taylor in P17. Federico Stramvanella, makes me feel very cultured when I can pronounce your surname, in P16. Dean Power in 15th. Michael Firth and his floppy fox cat in 14th. Demokos Kiss, not Kish, in P13, unlucky for some. Alan Brown, I promise I won't DNF at turn 1, in 12th. Bjorn, I like to be on stream as much as possible. Dale. Michael Massey, the steward for this evening, in P10. Daniel Krishnaider in P9. Bjorn Claessens in P8. Chris, the current championship protagonist, in second place in P7. Matteo, I'm a pro. No, actually, I'm an am. No, I'm a pro. Aguilera in P6. Nigel O'Brien in P5. Alex, I don't like race 2, in Zachtel in 4th place. Vincenzo, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Senadore in 3rd. Thomas Nopek, I will probably end up winning this race anyway, in P2. And Skylar Lovering, I wouldn't beat Thomas Nopek in a race, in P1. So that is our grid for this evening.
Was that for your enjoyment or our enjoyment?
A bit of both, I think.
I don't didn't think that was too bad. So we
That's
got.
pretty good.
Do you know what? This is the first time I've commentated a series from start to finish. They usually abandon me, or I abandon them halfway through a season, and somebody else replaces me. So this is the first time I've commentated a series from start to finish. So it's quite nice.
I'm just looking on board with the cars that have no lights on yet, and I don't know what the server settings are, but there's like a weird
Chica went to the pits.
there's a weird fog thing with the rear lights, and it looks the nuts. I want to know how the hell that's happened.
Mr. Ian Thompson has been voted to the pits before the drive. Must not got drive back.
So Chris Smiley says, "You're great, James. We always want you, but also we have no one else."
That's a backhanded compliment.
It is, but it's true. Next season, Ryan Stringer's going to do commentating by himself, aren't you?
Huh? I'm planning on going back to racing if the tracks are good.
If the tracks are good, that's not the way you get up.
No, I just I wanna be back racing. I would like to be back racing with my fellow teammate, Rocky Maggi.
Are you doing the British GT next season then?
Maybe. But I keep getting wild carded for the endurance races. So if anyone's gonna watch the
home yourself, you're James on Tuesday.
No, I'm apparently racing at the minute, but I have said I've actually quite enjoyed doing the Tuesdays, even though it's a massive rush and we have the podcast. So essentially, you're gonna give up your place. You're gonna come and do the podcast and commentate with me, Derek.
Oh wait.
No.
I was going to say, me doing the podcast? Why would I be doing the podcast?
You can do the podcast if you want.
At the very best, you might get me doing practice while the podcast is going on and me talking now and then. Now, if I come in and do my practice at 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we'll do the podcast from 7 till 8 and then I'm back racing again.
Well, you can practice while your teammate's doing this first stint.
Oh, mate, that...
What if I'm supposed to do the first of what if it's my fastest race?
It's not going to happen. Who's your teammate, Clive?
Yes.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Mr. Clive James.
I'm meant to be doing the 4 hour of Brands Hatch with Mr. Brizzle. Apparently, Mr. Sergio Azario was meant to be joining us as well. But don't know how we're going to do 3 drivers and 4 hours in total.
Well, one does qualifying and one does the first hour. Yeah, then I don't know. Right, okay. So
yeah,
we have interesting positions. So we need to try and keep an eye on where Gunter is at all times. So he's currently P19, which is was it? That is
P25. You mean?
No, Gunter's in
P19. You moved the whole thing when I looked at him and looked over at number. You moved the whole thing down.
So he is currently 1, 2. He's in 5th. So at the moment he's not winning the championship. As the drivers approach turn 1, we're gonna keep an eye on Lovering and Nopek, and we are go and see if Lovering can get. I beat Thomas Nopek twice. Thomas Nopek takes the lead already, and I think Skylar had a little bit of contact and he's been pushed off the track.
Oh, big crash.
There's got a drive through as well.
And Sky Lovering is bouncing all over the grass. He's come back onto the track as chaos has ensued behind him. I'm not quite sure what's going on back there, but it looks as though Floppy Fox has been involved once again. Oh no, Michael, this is so not right.
We've had three or four off in turn 1. We've had a third one off, a 5th one off in turn 3, being Black Magic again, and
so
had another one off in the Island Bend, 2 off.
Alan Brown is dropping down the grid, but he's still there in P14, so he hasn't returned to pits yet. Where is Gunter? Gunter is P16. So it's worth keeping an eye on him. So he's still on the track. He still has an undamaged car. It can all still change. He has Gavin Taylor in front of him and Alan Brown in front of him. Nick the Stick in front of him. And where is Fielder?
Oh, crashed in the second chicane.
Where's Fielder?
What number
Chris
is it?
Fielder has fell all the way back as well. What's it?
Yes, he
Chris
has. He's in
Fielder,
27th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Zach Dell's currently in second place, but we know he's got a drive through from the start.
Right.
Third position.
So Fielder is all the way back in 27th position. Gunter, 26th position. So Gunter is in P15. So this is Gunter's championship at the moment. I'm not sure what happened at the start, which has destroyed Chris Fielder. but that's not going to help him either, driving off the track through the final corner. Wow.
Let's have a look at what happened.
So let's try and. So you're having a look at Fielder at the moment. So picture quality is dreadful on my thing. It's very grainy, so can't really.
I think he was involved in the first turn or second turn this year.
Yeah, he got Bjorn Claessen's around the outside. I think it's Bjorn Claessen's number 69. Was around the outside. He went wide and turned into Bjorn Claessen's, put Bjorn Claessen's in the wall, and then had to reverse back to get back on track, and then spun it again before getting back onto the black stuff to drive away.
So did Claessens and Chris Jones make contact and Fielder made contact then? Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Any instant feelings on potential blame?
Without looking from the chase and using the.
So Gunter's now putting pressure on Alan Brown. So this is for the race lead essentially. So Chris Smiley says it's not me. I'm not involved. Well,
I'm not being biased, but from my experience of racing and doing even night racing even more, you've got to give room.
Let's have a look. Go back 5 seconds. Start play. Okay.
From my experience, I would give more room. And it has really harmed Chris Fielder. As we've had 4 more off. We've got George off. We've got Mr. Floppy Fox. We've got Chris Sauter off at turn 1 before he's even made it into the corner.
Yeah.
What has happened here?
Sitting in the middle of the road, evidently go round like a roundabout.
What has happened to Mr. Sauter? He is backwards at the start of turn 1.
Yeah, race 2 is definitely not started as well as race 1.
No, everyone's kind of thrown their toys out of the pram and just gone full ball out.
It's gotten very, very dangerous.
He made contact with Mr. Oh! Woody and Sauter make contact.
Woody's been having a few contacts with us. Of course, he will be saying that none of them were his fault.
Sauter was on the. So it was. I would put the blame onto.
So Zach Dell's gone into the pits for his drive-through then.
Yeah, he had his last lap before he had to do it for this lap when he was going to qualify.
So he's going to be involved in some not great fun now. That promotes Gunter into P11. So he's 1 point now behind. He's now just behind Alan Brown, who's currently in P1. Chris Fielder is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he has 19 minutes to gain 7 positions and be in front of Gunter.
But from all that contact, yet again, Ryan Blanchard's off the track. Is he in the wall? He is in the wall.
Well, him and yeah, he is. He's now just trying to come back onto track at the hairpin. He now does a little pirouette.
That's given. Ryan Blanchard has spun it an island.
He's not having the best of times. Oh, Jesus Christ!
I think there's going to be a few,
Well,
tickets.
I don't know
being
how he didn't make any contact with anyone.
Those 3 spins, I'm surprised that he made it away. Made it away without causing drama for anyone else. As Chris Fielder is trying to make a move on Stefano Barretto, and Barretto is holding his position.
Yeah, he's done quite well there. So
As Chris Fielder is off track, he is. He had a run in with the grass and has kept it on track, but lost some time. But one drive that we haven't spoke about is Raki Maggi. He is in P3 of the AMS overall at the moment.
Also, Allegri, the pro/am/pro/am, is 2/10 of a second behind Senadore at the moment as they're fighting going into Sector 1. Dale, Power and Brown are also very close, with Gunter not too far behind in P2. As you mentioned, Raki is in P3 overall in the AMS. Nico Veltman has moved massively through the grid from P33 to P14 and is all over the back of Raki. Raki might be within his interest just to go, yeah, do you know what, mate, go past me.
I mean, with the experience that I said to Raki earlier on, I was helping him out. I said, look, if there's pros behind you and they're giving you grief, just let them through. It's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
I was in his position last season, and it's the best thing to do. Even though you could be faster than them, just let them through and let them go their way. As Nico Veltman had a slight issue, and he's now side by side with Zach Dow. As Zach Dow goes off slightly wide.
As they're going side by side, Zach Dow's in front. Contact. Nigel O'Brien sets the fastest lap of the race with a 33.3. Side by side by Alex Zachdell and Nico Veltman going into the final corner. Alex Zachdell still has his nose in front as they start to go up the hill. The Audi does Audi things and gets a little bit twitchy under traction control. And Alex Zachdell's retained P4. Let's have a look. Allegri and Senadori are still going in. Massey and Skyler. Where the hell? Skyler Lovering dropped down to P5. Oh yeah, he got hit off at the start. Then we got Power and Dale going for it. Gunter is now a second behind Alan Brown. Barato and Fielder is still 0.4 of a second. So Chris Fielder is trying to get past Stefano Barato, who visited all areas of Oulton Park in the last race.
It's amazing from the last race to this race, the difference of Barretto.
Yeah,
I don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but he is holding up Chris Fielder.
It's going to be so. Barretto defends the inside. Chris Fielder's going to try and go around the outside to get on the power early, going down into the chicane. He's not going to gain any advantage. So he's
really trying to move in places that don't work to try and make that move happen.
Bjorn Dale and Power were going side by side. So Power's now in front of Bjorn Dale. We've got Alan Brown directly behind these drivers as well, with Gunter there in close proximity as well. As we got Bjorn Dale and Dean Power going side by side through the final corner. The Mercedes is still behind the Porsche. Alan Brown in the Aston Martin trying to follow them from. Allegri and Lovering have made contact. Not quite sure what's happened with those drivers, but we're going to stay on board with Bjorn Dale, Alan Brown, Dean Power and Gunter.
Gunter is all over the back of Alan Brown trying to make that move for the lead. And Alan Brown, the man who has had 2 back-to-back wins in the hour race on the Fridays.
Gunter's going to try and go around the inside. Alan Brown's gone. Alan Brown's gone off the track, and he's going to visit the wall. I think he has visited the wall. He is now spinning round. So that's put Gunter into the lead. Vincenzo Senadori has fallen down the track, so Gunter is now right on his arse in position, but. Right behind Gunter is Daniel Krishnoya. This is comfort moment now for Gunter. He doesn't have to do anything but keep in his position. Raki Maggi was in P2. Alan Brown has just moved ahead of him, so Alan Brown is now in P2 overall in the AMS. Raki Maggi is now in P3. That's a fantastic result for him. After the great result last time out, Ian Thompson is currently in P30 after having to complete a pit stop, so he is well down the grid on
just
where he
looking
was last
back
time.
at that incident between Mr. Brizzle Brown going off track. Racing etiquette, the car behind would back off slightly, and
But he didn't need to. He wasn't onside. He did drop back, and then Brizzle went wide and went straight off the track and through the middle. He didn't need to back off Gunter. He wasn't in an awkward position. It's just unfortunately with Brizzle overcompensated and hit the grass. As soon as you hit the grass in that corner, you're going straight on.
yeah, definitely. I was just
So JRson, don't commentate Cuff's bracket.
I'm going to try and avoid Racky.
I'm trying to avoid it.
So
And he's
Gunter is now trying to go. Has gone round the outside of Vincenzo Senatore. No! Gunter. So Senatore went over the chicane and hit Gunter. Gunter then goes off the track, has to do a little bit of a pirouette and start again. He is somehow still in the lead of the AMS. So Alan Brown is 3.5 seconds behind Gunter, but Gunter will have damage after that collision with Vincenzo Senatore. We're halfway through the race and the drama is continuing for the AMS Championship.
There is a 5-way battle for the lead now in the AMS. First to fifth are within 6 seconds of each other.
And Chris Fielder has also got past. Chris Fielder's also got past Barato.
Yeah, Gunter's just got past Senatore. So Senatore is dropping off as well.
I think Senatore may have given that position back. There was contact between Senatore and Gunter at the hairpin.
No, Senatore is in the pits, so he's got severe damage.
Right. Okay. Or might just be thinking, I don't want to race anymore. He made a mistake. He made a mistake.
We've got another one just reset to the pits. That is Chris Sota, and someone else is
Nopek. Let me click on Nopek. What's happened to Nopek?
Nopek has spun in the island bend. I'm wondering if it's going to be the same thing that we've had throughout the race, the 2 races we've had so far.
So Nopek is now P8.
If that was him losing the back end and going wide.
So that gives Nigel O'Brien the lead.
Oh no, he hit the curb and caught it as... Who is that? Who's that? Chris Sota. So, what happened to Mr. Sota? Because he just lapped Sota. Sota must have copied him? So... Sota just decided to disobey the track lines and try and go through the little sling, and didn't work, and went straight into the wall and ended his race. As Nopek waiting up for a few drivers to go past, and then spins. It does the same thing as Mr. Brizzle did, and dropped him behind. What's that, Bjorn Dale?
Alex Zachdel's going for the move on Daniel Krishnaida as well, as they're both going through turn 1. Hello again, Sergio. I guess race 2 didn't go to plan.
So we got. So Gunter has decided to leave everyone in the dust, and it's now Alan Brown second place, Racky Maggi in third, Gavin Taylor in fourth, and Chris Fielder sitting in fifth, not closing as quick as he really wants to and needs to, because at the time Gunter is pulling away, and he has gained 3.5 seconds since I last looked at the timing board.
Yeah, he's actually gaining time on Nico Veltman as well, who's in front of him. Right, okay, so let's have a look. So Daniel Krishnaida has been overtaken by Alex Zachdel. So Alex Zachdel's moved up into P9. Thomas Nopek is down in P8. Bjorn Dale's having a bit of a slow flag in P7. Then you've got Dean Power, Domokos Kish, El Galeri, Skylar Lovering, Michael Massey, and Nigel O'Brien leads the way for potentially his first FRL race win, which would be fantastic from Nigel. Obviously, Thomas Nopek going off the track has helped that. So apparently when your voice breaks, you sound very different, Ryan. So
Is this pubescent 21-year-old that would rather commentate than race?
So there is Gunter in P1 in the AMS. Despite Galigari being a pro, he's red. Don't know why. Gunter in P12, Brown 13, Raki 14, Taylor 15, Fielder 16th. Remember, Fielder needs to be ahead of Gunter to claim the championship. If he's ahead by one position, he wins the championship. But again, depending on what incidents are raised after the race, it could all change. So, yeah, there we go.
No,
Gunter's off the track. Gunter's off the track. Gunter's off the track. He's gone long at the hairpin, and that's allowed.
I think these AM boys are definitely just trying to play with us, just to make it a bit more interesting to end the season.
I was looking at the lap times, and then all of a sudden I saw Gunter's Mercedes drifting round against the wall. So that's allowed Alan Brown right onto the back of Gunter. Raki is the car behind.
Gavin Taylor is holding up.
Chris Fielder.
That is the teammates.
So Brizzle's gone off the track as well. So that's given Gunter a little bit of breathing room. So Chris Fielder, as you've just mentioned, is now right behind Gavin Taylor in the Wiz Motorsport car. Mercedes is going to have that grunt to pull away from the corners over the Aston Martin. But the Aston Martin is all-round a better car. Gunter's nervous as. So Wiz Motorsport's comment, I bet he is.
I think, with thinking about this, Gavin Taylor knows how close the championship is between Gunter and Chris Fielder, and if he can hold him up for another lap or two, there is no chance.
So, and then Chris Fielder's going down the inside! Around the outside, sorry! I was halfway through vaping, that was not a good feeling!
I could tell that.
Really
so they're going side by side into the left-hander. Chris Fielder yields the place as they go in towards the hairpin. So this is fantastic battling from Gavin Taylor. He is doing the Sergio Perez role for the Wiz Motorsport team. Gavin Fielder just cannot get past. He's desperately trying through, and my throat is actually burning after that. Michael Firth's in the pits, coming out of the chicane. Chris Fielder has a better exit, but it's not going to be an easing pass as Gavin Taylor inside line, the defensive line. But coming out of the chicane is where it's going to be key. It's possibly going to be the only chance of the rest of this lap where Chris Fielder can overtake.
Like I was saying, this is what.
And Gunter's only got 0.4 of a second of a gap between Alan Brown, so anything could happen with that. Oh no!
They're both off! Oh! Chris Fielder just took it a bit too heavy on the foot and decided not to use the brake as much, and took both of them out of the contention towards that top 3 podium. But that whole battle has allowed Raki Maji to pull a gap, as well as Alan Brown and Gunter to put.
Yeah, so Gunter, it's just Gunter. The Belgian. The Belgian currently leads the way. He has 0.7 of a second gap to Alan Brown behind. You can see Alan Brown closing in the braking zone as they go through the hairpin. I'm sure he's being informed that Chris Fielder's had some battles with Gavin Taylor. He's now a second behind Gavin Taylor, so we got just under 5 minutes left, and anything can happen.
Where did that come? Oh.
It is 10:15 at night here in the UK, and there's 18 people tuning into this. Yay!
So we're just going to have a slow breakdown of what has just gone on. As
don't want to move that. Are you alive, are you alive, Derek?
Yes, I'm just sitting back, relaxing, chilling. Acting all cool.
So he went for the move. The move wasn't there, and then the collision basically got a bit too hot on. Yeah. Okay. So Chris Fielder has managed to get past Gavin Taylor, interestingly enough, as Chris Fielder's pulled over to the side. I'm not sure what's happened.
Oh, contact! Contact between Chris Fielder and Gavin Taylor yet again. Oh, these two are never going to stop, are they?
No, but Chris Fielder is in P16. He's gained the position on Gavin Taylor. I'm not quite sure what's happened.
Side by side with Senatore just behind Gavin Taylor on the inside yet again, and it is the opposite. Gavin Taylor takes out Chris Fielder. And then Chris Fielder comes back on and it's Ryan Blanchett. Oh, it's not going well for neither of these two boys tonight. But Gavin Taylor waiting up just so that Chris Fielder can get back on track.
Oh. Okay, so Nico Veltman has just gone past Daniel Krishnaida, who Porsche unfortunately got a bit squirrely under acceleration. So Nico Veltman moves up to P10. We've got Dale Nopek and Zachtel all in a fight for P7. Nopek not in a position he's been very familiar with this season. Gunter is now ahead of Chris Schneider, so he has at least one car between himself and the rest of the AMS field. So it depends on...
Blanchett's got to drive through now.
We haven't talked about him much, but Michael Massey defying the odds and is on the podium at the moment, holding off Skylar Loverink for P2.
Wow.
As this battle is about to start as they go through Island Bend.
Indeed, so just on board now with Michael Massey. He's just defending for his life over the Ferrari, who was getting a bit jumpy as they approach the chicane. Michael Massey takes a bit too much of the curb. Skylar Loverink now gets on the power as they head towards down towards the second chicane. Michael Massey defending the inside line. Loverink is going to have to take the long way around as they go side by side through the chicane. A little bit of contact between the two drivers into the right hand, and Skylar Loverink has moved ahead into P2.
More battles going on. Matteo Allegri and Dean Power are battling away. And then we've got the three-way battle between Bjorn Dale, Nopek and Alex Zachdale. As we've got one car going slow, Mr. Barry Gibbons.
So
Okay, the leader is on the final lap.
So Lisa is on the final lap.
Alan Brown's cut the chicane. This is going to be tight between Alan Brown and Ricky Maggi for P2. It's all kicking off with one lap to go in the final race of the season.
Absolutely. So Alan Brown is now in P13 overall. So he's still got P2, and he goes very deep. And Ricky Maggi has got P2. So Alan Brown and Kuzmenko now is right on is 40. It says 40 seconds, but I don't think that's right. Yeah, I think it is actually.
We've just missed Michael Massey getting passed by Skylar Loverink. But Matteo Allegri
I got that one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Skylar Loverink making a move into P3, and then we got Matteo Allegri trying to hold off P4 from Dean Power. Dean Power's going to try and make this move on the final lap.
Right. So a couple of things to confirm. So obviously Nopek's won already. The Tier 1 Championship. However, this is a great time for Nigel O'Brien. In the Honda, has had a pretty good season all in all. Is leading the way into the final few corners for his first FRL win. So we're going to stay on board with him as he approaches the last corners, because I think he has had a fantastic race. Yes, okay, Nopek went off. Loverink had that issue into turn 1. Alex Zachdel had a drive-through penalty, but that was a fantastic win for Nigel O'Brien. He comes out in P1. Sky Loverink looks like he's going to get P2, with Michael Massey finishing off the podium. Nopek is...
Power?
Yeah. Dean Power's got past Allegri, hasn't he? Yes, he has.
Allegri went deep in the first chicane and went over the curbs and gave Dean Power the position, but Matteo Allegri come across the line and
But our champion this season for the AMS, who takes on the takes the title away from Michael Massey, who won it last season, is Gunter de Potieri, from Belgium in the Mercedes, comes across to win the AM Championship, and that has been a fantastic example of consistency. That was his first win of the season. Ricky Maggi comes across to claim P2. And that is a great result.
JR happy, won't it?
Absolutely, and that was a fantastic race by Recce. Alan Brown gets P3, so that rounds off the AM podium. Chris Fielder had an eventful race, and we'll see what happens in terms of the stewards room after the race, but Chris Fielder comes across in P16 to finish this season. He's been chasing after his bad results from round 2, and I can't remember what the track was. Gavin Taylor finishes behind him in P17. Bjorn Claessens had a rather uneventful race. I think he got involved in the contact with Chris Fielder, but we'll have a look at that afterwards. He claimed P18.
I think Recce's realises the race isn't over yet. He's doing another lap still.
Yeah. So let's have a look at our respective champions. So Thomas Nopek is parked out on the track. He's done and dusted. That is a fantastic season from Thomas. Our AM champion is Gunter, who decides not to do any victory spins, but that is a fantastic season from him. So go Nigel and Gunter.
The whole track after turn 1 is just a mess of cars.
I'm trying to find one of them.
Zach Dell was one of them.
Yes. That was indeed P2 for Recce, so I think that's his first podium as well. So, obviously...
There he is. There's the champion boy.
Obviously, this is down to what happens post-race. There is going to be potentially the Michael Massey moment. Not Michael Massey who's racing, but the stewards will have to see what comes into the stewards room. But all over bar and shouting, Thomas Nopek for the pros and Gunter for the AMs. I've actually really enjoyed this season, commentating on it. Feel like I got to know the drivers. Hopefully they didn't mind me poking a little bit of fun at them in the driver grid positions. Derek, what's your? You've obviously been in the comms booth with me for a number of the races. How do you feel about it?
Feel about what?
The season which we've just experienced.
The season was absolutely brilliant. I only woke up again about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, this is...
Fell asleep again, sorry.
I'm pretty sure that Derek just comes in instead of having Kip because he doesn't want to have a... have to go
Tuesdays are a busy day for me, exercise-wise and moving around. And it does make me tired. I will admit, I'm not shy in saying it.
Yeah.
Is it confirmed that Mr. Nopek has won the championship?
Yes, that was confirmed. That was confirmed before the last race. So Wiz Motorsports, great nights for Wiz. 3 guys on the final podiums and a race win. Recce, well, that was unexpected. LOL. Awesome commentating, guys. Oh, thanks, shucks. It was a great season. Thank you very much. This is your first season on PC, and I think that is a really good performance. Thank you very much, Wiz Motorsports. I'm not a commentator, I just fill gaps. Ryan, what's your synopsis of the season? I know you missed a race because you were delivering things.
Yes, I was. Last minute call to deliver some pizzas.
He was delivering a child. He's not a doctor.
No, not another child. Can't afford bloody one. That's why I got 2 jobs. Unfortunately, this isn't a job, so I can't count this as my 3rd job. But you know, the championship from the 5 rounds that I've 5 rounds, yeah, 5 rounds that I've been here, it's been really intense. I mean, we was just the AMs at the start, and then we moved to
just the pros,
the mixed, and from Indianapolis, it has just been an absolute blast to watch these guys go tooth and nail, battling against people in their class, people in lower class, which was one thing that I said to you, Mr. Williams, is that it's nicer to have a battle with the guys that are pros when you're on AM, because it gives you a bit more of a battle. And I think that once we got into that mixed grid, it gave a bit more of an oomph to go, alright boys, this is where we can improve, where this, that and everything, which is one thing that I found last season. So it was really good to have that multi-class experience.
I agree at certain points it was quite good. Imagine trying to stick 80 cars on a grid. Might not have been fun. So
I mean,
just a final bit from me. So tonight we've obviously had the podcast. We've obviously had to deliver some bad news about Chris Jones, Freshisa. I'm just going to pop the link to the GoFundMe page in again. If you can please contribute something to help Chris and his family, I'm sure they'll greatly appreciate it. We've had the parade lap, which was awesomely observed by every single driver on the grid, and hopefully that was a nice mark of respect. We've had 2 epic races. So Nopec won race 1, and Nigel O'Brien won race 2. So that's a fantastic win for him in terms of the season. In the AMS, Chris Fielder won race 1, brought that title a little bit closer to within 1 point. A little bit of chaos ensued in race 2, and Gunter claims the championship. So hopefully you've all enjoyed the action. Sky Lovering, woo! Hopefully you will look forward again to next season. So next week we won't be having a podcast, and we will prepare for what the British GT has in store for us. So thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you very much Ryan for joining me once again, and thank you very much Derek.
Thank you very much, James.
All right, good night to
And
everyone.
Ryan.
Yes, good night to everyone, sleep well.